road, heroes. A message from ODOT.
With our eye on the stock tickers, this is the Wake Up Call Business Report on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. The car makers are starting to report their sales numbers for December. Nissan increased U.S. sales by 19%, beating the 16% average estimate of analysts surveyed by Bloomberg. Nissan brand sales rose 18%, while the premium Infiniti brand grew 26%. Nissan achieved its best ever December in the U.S. by riding the wave of light truck demand as gasoline prices hover around $2 a gallon. The company's sales of trucks, minivans, and SUVs, including the Infiniti brand, were up 44%. Fiat Chrysler said that its overall sales were up 13% on the month, driven by Jeep. The overall gain, though, was shy of analyst projections for an increase at Fiat Chrysler of 19%. The biggest U.S. and Asian car makers are all expected to report gains of at least 10% for the month of December. U.S. stock index futures are slipping this morning, but they have paired earlier declines. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
Well, if you're trying to roll into the new year and you're dealing with credit problems and you need a car to get to work, get the kids to school, whatever it is that you need to do, you need to check out Guarantee Discount Chevrolet. They have Guarantee's Good People, Bad Credit program that's designed to help hardworking folks who need a hand because of medical bills or credit card bills or student loans or other financial setbacks actually get into a quality, safe, reliable vehicle in 48 hours or less. And then they're going to stand beside you every mile of the road to help you reestablish your credit. So if you have some late payments or a foreclosure that you're dealing with, this is a special opportunity for you. They have some of the best finance specialists in the Willamette Valley at Guarantee Discount Chevrolet. So you can get into a car, a truck, an SUV to get your family to where they need to go during Oregon's winter rain, snow, and icy conditions. Give them a call at 541-998-2333. That's 541-998-2333. Guarantee Discount Chevrolet.
We'll do it live.
The Wake Up Call with Holloway in London.
We'll do it live.
1120 KPNW.
This is boring as burnt toast.
6:29. A little bit surprised that LCC Eugene is doing the delay till 12 noon. LCC Eugene and Cottage Grove, Florence Center, regular hours. So no delays whatsoever in Florence. But
I don't know about you, but coming in this morning, it was just wet. I didn't see ice anywhere.
No, just I mean, if anything, just kind of wear the shade. And I mean, there is that little stretch on 30th that it seems like even a couple of days after you get sun, you still see a little bit of frost and a little bit of snow if it snowed. But, I mean, just that's at the summit of 30th. Once you're over that, you're good to go. So anyway, there you go. Blatchley, Lane County, Blatchley School District, 2 hours late. Crowell, Applegate, Lorraine, 2 hours, as is Fern Ridge School District's start time, a 2-hour delay there. Head Start of Lane County, talking LCC and Junction City morning classes are canceled. Only the morning classes, but the staff, you still have to show up. And Junction City, 2 hours late. The buses are on the snow routes. If anybody listening in the Lynn County area, Scioto School District, Scioto is on a 2-hour delay, and that's pretty much it. On a day after Ice Storm 2016. Did we get anything up to the voice person to produce? I guess if it went a different day, a second day, we would have had something produced for that.
Right. We would have had Ice-Mageddon or something like that. We need to have him just do a series of just generic Mageddon things, be it Ice-Mageddon, Snow-Mageddon, Rain-Mageddon, Flood-Mageddon, you know, that kind of thing.
And then just throw 2016 and we can edit it together.
Right, and we can just, you know, well, we can actually, what we could have him do is just have him do, you know, several of them for, you know, 2016, 2017, 2018. So we really never have to do much of anything except just go to the archives.
And we
Snowmageddon, 2018.
We could even get a cart. Remember carts? We could cart up different, different random order, and then just plop one in the cart deck and play it.
Oh, it
and
could
create our own.
Sort of like Mageddon Roulette.
Yeah.
I'm kind of down with that.
Create our own disaster of the day.
Right. I like that. Pork Mageddon.
Do you have your headset wired together?
Yeah.
With, it looks like Christmas. It's green and red, so I keep thinking it's a ribbon up there.
I will never buy a pair of these Biodynamic.
Well, talk about the brand.
It's Biodynamic. They used to be great, and the D70s were awesome headphones. And this last pair, the last pair I had for was like 8 or 9 years, maybe even 10. Great headphones.
Sad to see them go, I bet.
Bulletproof. I mean, they were wonderful headphones, and I mean, they get used a lot. This is one of the, and people go, oh, well, I have my digital headphones and they're fine. Yeah, well, you only use them about a half an hour a day. It's like these things get used constantly. And these new ones are just crap. They literally started falling apart. And I mean literally just pieces falling off of them.
So, I mean, how much do you think you had worn them before that happened?
Oh, not more than like 3 or 4 months. Yeah, I know. It's just they're garbage.
Did you send them?
Yeah, I'm arguing now over the warranty on the things. Because the things actually, pieces started falling off of them. Like breaking off of them. And I, told them what the deal was, sent photographs to them. Oh, well, you've abused the headphones. No, I haven't abused the headphones. They're a piece of crap that are falling apart. There's a difference between abuse and there's a difference between a lemon. These are lemon headphones. And so this is the...
And to throw this little bit out, I'll say for some radio people, headsets are kind of like your babies.
They're personal.
I was called out on the air because I didn't let somebody at my former radio station in another city use the headsets, and so they were saying I had was a germaphobe and I didn't want anybody else's. No, I see how other people treat their headsets. Even if they take them off, they kind of slam them, out of habit. Like that was my headsets. And do you think they're going to buy a $100 set if they destroy it,
or a $200 set, as the case may be? No, they're not going to do it. How many have you ever had somebody use your headphones and you come into the studio the next day, realize they used them, and have one of the earphones blown out?
No,
I've had that happen. I was
crazy.
Ballistic. Yeah, I mean, it's like you don't go into an electrician's toolbox and just start grabbing ohm meters. Okay, you don't do that. And it's the same thing with the headphones. They're a tool. I really do believe that. They're a tool that we use. Just like, a reel-to-reel used to be in the day, or your desktop computer.
And I'll tell you this. When you see the new generation, now I sound 100 years old. There's new. They're using the Dr. Dre beats, which are
crap.
Awful.
Those are garbage.
Seriously?
Yeah.
They're like $3 in, if that, in part, and they're selling them for way.
They're just a piece of plastic.
But they're awful. They sound terrible. Like, how do you work? Anyway.
Yeah, we got, is it Val that has a pair of those down?
I think she's got some too.
Oh, is there somebody else that has those? I'm sorry, any headphones that you actually have to put batteries in to make them work.
Or if they're pretty colors.
Yeah, are dumb for radio.
Yeah.
Those are dumb radio headphones. First time I saw them, I was like, you actually bought headphones you have to put batteries in? Why?
That doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't make any sense, but you have to constantly.
Does it give you like a nice massage, a little vibration?
That would be cool. I'd like that.
Anyway,
if you want to know about headphones, now you've got a pretty good
MDRs.
Sony MDRs
are awesome.
Yep, I had.
What were you gonna say?
Oh, I had a long time ago the great big MDRs back in the late '90s. You remember the ones I'm talking about? They were just
big.
Yeah, they
huge
looked.
cans.
Yeah, it looked like you had 2 black bagels stuck to the side of your head, but they were awesome headphones. And I'm now considering going back to the MDRs.
Come back to the dark side.
Come back to the dark side of Sony.
Matt and Renee, and we're not talking the crew from KUCI, Templeman and McCullough. We're talking about two of the, I think there's 4 total. Bobo, I know, is one of them from the show Finding Bigfoot.
Did you say Bobo?
Bobo's one of the...
Oh, okay.
Is one of the hosts. They're calling in Animal Planet. Coming up next on 1120 KPNW.
Whether it's new or recycled office furniture, Oregon's most respected office furniture dealer is Office Furniture Direct in Portland, selling furniture throughout the state. Office Furniture Direct has clients up and down I-5 and is making trips into Eugene every month and can be your source for the best price and finest installation. Save money on quality office furniture at Office Furniture Direct at ofd-pdx.com.
This is a national health care alert from the Health Hotline. If you, a family member, or a loved one suffers from knee pain and have Medicare as your primary insurance, we've got great news. You could qualify for a pain-relieving knee brace at little or no cost to you. Get free delivery, and all the paperwork is handled by our accredited suppliers at no charge to you. If you are on Medicare and have knee pain, don't wait. You may qualify to immediately receive a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost. Friendly agents are standing by 24/7 to help you. We also have other pain-relieving braces available for shoulder, ankle, and your back. You may be eligible to get these items and more at little or no cost to you as well. Our friendly representatives are standing by now to take your call. 800-430-9571. 800-430-9571. 800-430-9571. That's 800-430-9571.
SquareTrade does not cover lost or stolen items. Savings based on 2-year iPhone plan, 1 claim compared to Assure total equipment coverages of August 10, 2015.
Getting a new iPhone? Don't overpay for phone insurance. Save with SquareTrade phone protection instead. Phone insurance through your wireless carrier can cost as much as $11 every month, plus up to a $199 deductible when you break your phone. SquareTrade iPhone protection is less than $5 a month. We can save you over $240.
Start saving with SquareTrade now. Visit squaretrade.com. That's squaretrade.com.
How long would you wait for your shower to get hot? How long would you wait for your cell phone to fully charge? How long would you wait to get relief from your nasal congestion? If you're congested now and you want powerful relief now, use Afrin No Drip. Afrin starts working in seconds and keeps working for 12 hours. So why wait? When you can start to get relief in seconds with Afrin. Afrin, powerful congestion relief without the wait. Use as directed. For more information, go to Afrin.com.
We all play a role in keeping our community safe.
Every day, we move in and out of each other's busy lives.
It's easy to take for granted all the little moments that make up our everyday.
Some are good, others not so much.
But that's life.
It's when something doesn't seem quite right that it's time to pay attention.
Because only you know what's not supposed to be in your everyday.
So protect your everyday.
If you see something suspicious, say something to local authorities.
KPNW weather with Chris Nation. Brought to you by Mattress Mania, where you save like crazy.
Good morning. If you're headed out that door in the next few minutes or you're already on those roads, we're looking at another dangerous situation this morning as temps right at freezing. We've had some freezing rain off and on throughout the night, and there are some slick spots out there. Now, it's not as bad as it was yesterday. There's still some dangerous spots on the road if you're going to be out and about. Now, we've got showers off and on. Temps right now right at freezing at 32 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Light winds out of the north at 5 to 10. This afternoon, mostly cloudy skies look to continue across the region with a 70% chance of more showers. The big difference is the actual highs. Today, we'll actually get to the mid to low 40s out there, about 43 here in town. So once we get to about 11 a.m., most of the freezing spots should start to finally melt, and that should be the end of the freezing weather. Now, we will see small shots of rain throughout the week, so be prepared for that. But at this point, conditions will improve this afternoon. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation in the KMTR News Source 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a fantastic and safe day out there.
Poaching is a major threat to our country's wildlife populations, but it's just one of the risks animals face. The best way to protect wildlife is to protect the land on which they live. The Humane Society Wildlife Land Trust works with private landowners to protect wildlife by preserving natural habitats and establishing permanent sanctuaries. To learn more or to work with the Humane Society Wildlife Land Trust to save your land, call 1-800-729-SAVE or visit wildlifelandtrust.org.
Every child needs a place where they can grow up healthy and learn and be safe. And be safe. Every child needs a place to call home. A place where they can play and dream. Dream. And plan for their future. Your support can help put a decent roof over the heads of a family like mine. Like mine. Like mine. Like mine. To learn how you can help, visit habitat.org.
Dear John, I'm leaving. Uncontrolled high blood pressure is serious, and I can quit whenever I want. Why can't we get back to when you checked on me? I don't want to leave. But remember, when I quit, you quit. Sincerely, your heart.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. High blood pressure can lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range today. Find out how at heart.org/blood pressure. A message from the American Heart Association, the American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
Every day, we go about our lives driven by routine. Our vision clouded by the very normalcy we take for granted. Countless victims of human trafficking walk among us, invisible. It's time to open our eyes. The Blue Campaign provides a unified voice for those who combat human trafficking, whether it's forced labor, domestic servitude, or the sex trade. Learn what you can do to help by visiting dhs.gov/Blue Campaign.
This is a heavy dose of hard-hitting wake-up call. This is the wake-up call.
For one thing, thank you so much.
Holloway in London and the wake-up call.
Yeah, I love what you do.
On News Radio 1120, KPNW.
News Radio 1120 KPNW. Good morning. So, I like this off the email. By the way, you can email us at any time here in the Widmer studios just by emailing us at 1120kpnw@gmail.com. We were talking about Mageddon, and that we need to come up with just a bunch of random Mageddons like Ice Mageddon, Snow Mageddon, Rain Mageddon, Flood Mageddon, Sun Mageddon, Heat Mageddon, Pork Mageddon, Band-Aid Mageddon. Anyway, and get our voice guy to put together some things, and then we just get him to send us random, 2016, 2017, 2018, and stuff like that. And Jeff writes, for the year 16 Mageddon covers all chaos and tumult, the gnashing of teeth and the lamentations of the women. So, anyway, there you go. So 16 Mageddon is his suggestion there. That's not a bad one. Oh, writes Jeff, hey guys, I'm interested since you're talking about headphones. So as the crew in the Coast Guard, I had a pair of Clarks that I used and had to plug into the aircraft's communication system to be in contact with the rest of the crew, the C-130. Do you guys have to plug into a jack with your headphones when on the air? And is there a delay that you hear when you speak into the mic? Okay. I also used to be a radio man in the Coast Guard and had to wear headphones a lot, and comfort became a high priority. When we were wearing headphones for 3 hours or more at a time. You betcha. Okay, so, yes, we do plug in, and yes, there is a slight delay. But it's after, at first, and it mostly happened after things went digital. And so what you mostly notice, just not a real lengthy delay. It almost sounds just like a tiny bit of reverb in the headphones. And then after a while, you get used to it. Like, I haven't noticed it for a long time, and it was only after being gone for a couple of weeks and coming back that you start to notice it again. So you kind of get used to it. And yes, comfort is a big deal. So I think we're getting one of our guests together. And by the way, Jeff, thanks for your service. Appreciate that. Let's see. What is this? Oh, yeah, LCC. So LCC isn't an opening until noon today. All right. And that is all the local area campi. So Eugene, Cottage Grove, etc. Although Florence is going to be opening on time today, so they're not opening until noon. And right now, I'm not sure. At this point, we're just treading water. Sven is our intern, and Sven has been having some medical difficulties, so he's been just a wee bit scattered. All right, Rob. Who do we have? Is it the wheel of guests?
It is Dr. Pohl.
Dr. Pohl.
This is good because we got the dogs coming in the 8 o'clock hour. This will get us ready for that. Dr. Pohl, welcome to the show. Great to have you on. Happy New Year.
Well, thank you for having me.
For somebody that, I could do the bio, but really the important thing should come from you. For somebody that maybe is uninitiated, maybe not the fan just yet, fill us in. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, I am a veterinarian, been a veterinarian now for 45-some years, and started in a practice here in Michigan, and 35 years ago, Diane and I started our own practice here in Michigan, and then my son came over about 6-7 years ago and said, Dad, we should make a reality show about you. And that's what happened. I had no idea the show was going to be that popular, but it is. And right now, they are airing the 5th season, and we are already filming the 6th season. And in the meantime, a book has come out that is called Never Turn Your Back on an Angus Cow, and it'll tell a lot of the background and the history, how everything started.
Of course, on Nat Geo Wild, Dr. Pohl. So I'm curious. So it was your son that had the idea that you should, your life should be turned into a reality show. When you and he and everybody kind of went to Nat Geo, what was their attitude? What was their response?
Well, yeah, just like everybody else. He's kind of a character, isn't he? So let's try it. And that first season was 4 episodes, and like I said, they just went very, very popular. And right now, I have no idea why, to be honest with you, but we have the top show in Nat Geo Wild because we are honest. We do not do anything for the camera to the animals. So what you see is our daily work. It is not just me, it's just the other veterinarians in our practice too. It is the real thing. And I think this is what the response to people. And we have kids coming to the clinic, from 2 till 96 years old that just want to meet everybody at the clinic because they love the show. And this is what the show does. It brings the whole family together.
Yeah. I'll have to, as an addendum to that statement right there, true story, my 5-year-old, although she was, 4 at the time, was talking about wanting to watch your show and said it more than once. So I thought, okay, we'll sit down and watch the show and get through as much as we can. We got through about maybe between a quarter and a half of an episode, and I looked down and she looked a little freaked out and said, maybe we should watch something else. It is a great show. Maybe in another year we can watch it, but it's the life of what you see and experience every day. It's pretty amazing.
Yes. Yeah. It's an eye-opener for many people in the city.
It's a good way to put it. It's a good way to put it. So, for somebody that, and I, as a kid, I wanted to, for many years, I was thinking I wanted to be a vet. What is it like for you? I mean, here you're an animal lover, and yet you've got to be like this, kind of person with the backbone and be the person in charge. What is it like when you're going to see somebody who is in total love with their animal and things aren't probably going to end up good? How do you kind of get through that experience?
Very hard. Even after all these years, when a pet cannot be saved because of old age, I just had it this weekend again, because of cancer. We see cancer in animals just as much as in humans. And yes, you just have to tell the people that this is the end, and it's very hard to do. It is. But at the same time, it is an animal. You love them as much as you can all do anybody else, it seems like. But it is an animal. And no, you'll never find that same animal again, because every animal is an individual, just like people. But you can find another animal that you can love just as much. Diane and I have had Danes for 40 years, and they don't live long. But it doesn't mean that, the next Dane you don't love because it isn't the same Dane. No, it is a different animal, but you love them. And to tell people, I'm sorry, yes, I just try to help them through it as best as I can.
Hedgehogs and some of the animals miles or the Arctic-like winters there in Michigan? What do you find more difficulty in getting through?
This show that is airing now was last year. Last year in Michigan we had a cold winter, and yes, all you have to do is just put layers of clothing on and keep warm that way, and make sure you have a four-wheel drive vehicle to get there.
Okay, we were talking about the episode that you did last year that you know of. What is the episode that people really need to be in their seats to watch? Is there one that's going to be getting people talking?
Well, the first episode is coming this Saturday at 9 o'clock, and yes, it shows a little bit of this and that. There's a hedgehog coming in, and the next show is basically more about the cow business, and yes, you just have to keep watching because every show is different, and I don't know exactly what's all coming. If you can think that they're getting between 120 and 200 hours of taping a week, and the editors make it down to 40 minutes per episode, then I don't know always what is on the show. So, like I said, I don't see the shows many times ahead of time. These two I've seen, so I know what's coming. What's coming in the next shows? It's a surprise for me, too.
For you, too.
You mentioned that everything that the people are seeing is actually what you're doing on television. Do the producers ever say, okay, can you kind of juice up the relationship between you and the people that you're working with? Maybe,
no.
They never tell you, okay, we want you to just try and make this a little more dramatic. They never do that?
No. Because for me, the animal comes first. If you see anybody, that juicing it up, then it's the bantering between Charles, Diane, and I. Then they come in and say, hey, start something up like this. And no, we don't have to learn our lines. Everything is ad lib and a lot of fun. But when it comes to the animal, yes.
Okay, but the relationship and the banter that goes on between you and the players, though, they're trying to juice that up.
No. When it comes to the animal, this is how I treat the animal, treat the owners. They never come in and say, can you do this, can you do this? No, because the animal comes first, period.
Okay, but when we're not talking about the animal, when we're talking about the relationship between you and your human counterparts on the show, it sounds to me like the producers do come to you and say, okay, we want you to kind of do this and that, right?
Yes, when there's not an animal involved, we just juice it up and have fun.
Juice it up and have fun. It's a great show. Dr. Paul, I'm glad things worked out and we could get you on the show. We're big fans out here in the Pacific Northwest, and we'll keep watching.
You do that, and thanks very much.
You bet. Thank you, Dr. Paul. That's Dr. Paul from the big show, which is going to be premiering coming up on Saturday at 9 o'clock, Nat Geo Wild.
So are you sure that wasn't Bela Lugosi? I'm just kind of wondering there. At times I'm thinking, okay, this is he's got a kind of a Scandinavian Swedish thing going on, and then sort of like, no, he sounds more like Bela Lugosi. He could have. He could have a
definitely would have brought a different element to the show.
A secondary sort of career as a Bela Lugosi impersonator, going around the country performing at fairs and things as Bela Lugosi.
Really wild. All right, we got a break. We're going to get to Matt and Renee. Apparently, Matt is very, we'll just say, verbal in his responses. And so we'll get those responses about 7:25 coming up on KPNW. Stand by. A little bit of rain out there, but not the freezing, stuff that we had yesterday, unless you're in the higher elevations, and still a little slickery right here at KPNW.
If you're a man age 40 or older, listen closely to the following message. Are urinary problems interfering with the quality of your life, causing urgency, countless trips to the bathroom, or you to wake up in the middle of the night? You may be one of millions of men suffering from a condition called BPH that causes the prostate to enlarge. Urologists in Eugene are conducting a research study to evaluate the use of an investigational drug and device for BPH, which is hoped to be a less invasive alternative to surgery. Men 40 and older who continue to suffer from urinary symptoms of BPH are needed to participate in this research study at no cost. Compensation for your time may also be provided. If you would like to learn more about this local research study opportunity, please call 888-388-4BPH or log on to bphclinicaltrial.com. That's 888-388-4BPH. 888-388-4BPH.
You gotta get into Mattress Mania for our January clearance event. Our prices are unbeatable. Get a memory foam mattress for only $2.99. Mattress Mania. Save like crazy. Eugene, Springfield, Albany, and Corvallis.
I'm Gary Conley with today's Money Minute. Recently, I suggested that one of the main problems with all renewable energy, how to store the excess for use when the wind doesn't blow or the sun doesn't shine, could be solved if vanadium redox batteries get cheap enough to be widely used. But even if that happens, competing with natural gas-fired power plants is going to be tough. First, you've got to displace what already exists in a way that makes economic sense, maybe by undercutting the cost of the fuel, which in the case of natural gas will be more than a little difficult. Here's the nugget. Research done at the University of Texas suggests that domestic natural gas production will accelerate for the next 30 years. The study examined 15,000 actual wells drilled in the Barnett Shale, the first major deposit developed with modern technology. Most were drilled in the last 10 years, and the conclusion drawn from this real-world experience is that there is a very large amount of natural gas that can be produced for about $4 per thousand BTUs. Not much above the recent price of $3.45. If so, renewable energy will have to struggle to compete on a level playing field for a long, long time, and may well have to be propped up by taxpayers for decades. Unless, of course, some disruptive, innovative breakthrough comes along first. I'm Gary Conley, and that's today's Money Minute.
At home and around the world, KPNW is there covering the news that's important to you. Your 24-hour news, weather, and information station. News Radio 1120, KPNW.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. U.S. stocks are rising in early trading as global equity markets stabilize following the worst year opening performance for the S&P 500 in 15 years. Right now, that benchmark index is up 4 points or 0.2% at 2016. The Dow is up 18 or 0.1 percentage point at 17,168. And the Nasdaq is up 8 points at 49.10. Sentiment has become more cautious on stocks amid the Fed's first interest rate increase in almost a decade and forecasts for little to no growth in corporate earnings before the spring. Strategists at Citigroup cut their view on U.S. equities to underweight today. They say they're not especially bearish, but they do see better opportunities in Europe and Japan. Meanwhile, the car makers are reporting their numbers for the month of December. General Motors said sales rose almost 6%, but analysts were looking for an increase of 10% there. Fiat Chrysler sales rose 13%, and that was shy of projections. Nissan beat estimates. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
We report, you decide. This is News Radio 1120 KPNW, Eugene, Springfield, USA.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony.
This president is obsessed with undermining the Constitution in general, but the Second Amendment in particular.
Marco Rubio and many other Republicans angry at President Obama's executive actions on gun control.
There are individuals who are not, major merchants, but they sell guns individually in a small-scale way. You're now not only going to burden them with having to undergo the background check, that's one thing. If they get it wrong, if somehow they miss a step along the way, they're facing imprisonment.
Other presidential candidates, Donald Trump, Ted Cruz, and Chris Christie, have said they'd repeal the actions. Fox's John Decker details all these live from the White House.
The president's executive order will have the effect of closing the so-called gun show loophole by requiring anyone making a living by selling guns to register as a licensed gun dealer and conduct background checks. The changes are particularly meant for online gun sellers who often avoid conducting background checks despite making high-volume gun sales. The executive order also calls for hiring more FBI personnel to process background checks and makes it easier for states to provide mental health information to the background check system. Dave?
John Iran's president says Saudi Arabia is trying to cover up a crime, cutting off diplomatic ties. Fox's Jessica Gallagher live in our Middle East Bureau.
Dave, a spokesman for the Iranian government, denouncing attacks on the kingdom's consulate and embassy. He says Tehran should carefully investigate who was behind the incidents overshadowing Saudi Arabia's incorrect action. The so-called incorrect action the spokesman is referring to is Saudi Arabia's mass execution of 47 people, including prominent Shiite cleric Sheikh Namir al-Nimr, who was considered a martyr by Iran. Al-Nimr was instrumental in spearheading minority Shiite protests in Saudi Arabia during the Arab Spring. Dave.
And on Wall Street, we're seeing some gains and a little bit of declines. Much different than yesterday's big sell-off. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Attention business owners, now's the time to save with the Comcast Business Switch and Save event. Call 800-501-6000 now to get 30% off the regular price on the speed you need to download files faster, send large email attachments, process credit card transactions, and more. You'll get fast 25 megabits per second internet for just $69.95 per month when you add phone and TV, our lowest price of the year. But hurry, this offer ends soon. Afraid switching will disrupt your business? With our no-glitch switch, you can choose your installation time, days, nights, even weekends. Plus, you get our 30-day money-back guarantee. Don't miss the Comcast Business Switch and Save event. Get 30% off internet plus our no-glitch switch. Call 800-501-6000 now. Offer ends 3/31/16. Restrictions apply. Limited to one voice line and private view TV for new business customers with 2-year contract. Equipment, taxes, fees, including broadcast TV fee extra.
Now more on the quieter, calmer day on Wall Street. Fox Business Network's Nicole Pedalides live at the New York Stock Exchange.
A quieter, calmer day indeed, Dave. Yesterday we saw stocks drop 276 points. Today, Dow Jones Industrial Average down 27 at the moment at 17,121. The Nasdaq down 6 and the S&P 500 down 1. So relatively quiet, and 0.1% moves for each of those averages. Walmart, Merck, and United Health lead the way, while pulling back we're seeing Disney and Caterpillar. You mentioned President Obama using executive action on gun control, and with that we're seeing gun stocks Smith & Wesson and Sturm Ruger once again moving higher. Smith & Wesson up 13%, hitting all-time highs. Dave.
We bought a lot more cars, Nicole, with those end-of-year deals being advertised. Fiat Chrysler sales rose 13% in December. Ford was up 8%. GM saw a 6% gain. For all of 2015, General Motors led all automakers in the U.S., selling more than 3 million cars and trucks. It's expected Americans bought a record 17.5 million vehicles last year. They've been raking in big bucks on Broadway.
The last week in December, the best attended and highest grossing in Broadway history. 20 shows among 38 made more than $1 million. 4 making over $2 million. The Book of Mormon, Wicked, and Aladdin, which broke a theater record. Another Disney show also topping the $2 million mark. The Lion King made $2.4 million and was the #1 show on Broadway for a 3rd year in a row. Also setting theater records, Finding Neverland, School of Rock, and The Illusionists. Overall, ticket sales and attendance down slightly from 2014. Jay Metzler, Fox News.
The price of oil this morning is down nearly $0.50, close to $36 a barrel again. Gas is about the same price as yesterday. AAA's national average for regular remains $1.99 a gallon. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News Radio.
$11:20 KPNW. Welcome in hour number 2 of the second show of the year for the Wake Up Call on this Tuesday, January 5, 2016. Roadways looking pretty cohesive. I think everybody's getting along today. Everybody is playing well with others. If you see the contrary, if you see something that would need to be something that one of the other 14 might want to know, get it to us. 541-485-KPNW or 888-KPNW-888-5769. A couple of situations. Blatchley, Crow Applegate, Lorraine, Fern Ridge, and Junction City School District all on 2-hour delays. The Head Start of Lane County, LCC, and J City, the morning classes are canceled. Only the morning classes, and the staff has to report to duty. Lane Community College, the Eugene and Cottage Grove campuses are going to open up at 12 noon. Florence is going to operate regular hours. So just it's going to thaw out, and 30th should be plenty, well, except for that little shaded area at the summit should be okay. Always see people riding their bikes to and fro. I mean, if you're doing that every day, going over that hill and up that hill, and you got to be you have to have legs of steel.
So what you're saying is this will be a morning you can get back into your routine.
I guess.
Yeah, afternoon.
Yeah. Hey, if you have done the resolution thing, or maybe just set some goals for 2016, and one of those was to maybe drink less, or maybe not at all, this would be motivation to continue that and maybe fuel that effort. According to science, there was a study that found that people that stopped drinking for 1 month, these are normal drinkers, not alcoholics, but, that consume on a regular basis, lost an average of 3.5 pounds, were less likely to develop diabetes, had lower cholesterol levels, they slept better, found it easier to concentrate, and lowered the amount of fat in their liver by an average of 15%. If you know, fatty liver, a direct cause and leads you down the road to liver disease.
Which is interesting, because coming up at 7:40, we're going to be talking to an individual dealing with a study that shows that a glass of red wine a day is equal to 1 hour at the gym. It's conflicting booze reports.
Well, I mean, one glass of red wine, I think, it's when you get the second and third, when you drink one bottle of red wine.
Okay, but you said that in that study that we're not talking about alcoholics or heavy drinkers. These are people that are just normal drinkers. You prefaced it with that. So what I'm saying here is that, well, we have dueling studies. One says, if you quit drinking, you're going to lose weight. Another says, if you have a glass of red wine a day, it's just as good as going to an hour at the gym. So anyway, that'll be something that we can bat back and forth like kitties with a wad of yarn.
It shall be fun. And then in between, we'll talk about Sasquatch and Yetis.
Yeah. See?
What an hour.
Yeah, what an hour.
What an hour to behold.
Booze and Bigfoot. I like it.
Booze and news, too.
Yeah, booze and news and Bigfoots. We'll have news. Yep, we have that. It's coming up, and it's brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones here on KPNW.
Fall is officially hit with cold, rainy weather. Don't start a chilly day with a bleak breakfast. Warm your spirits with a breakfast burrito and coffee from Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones. You can always enjoy a fresh cup of coffee at any Burrito Amigos location, but if you need a great espresso, hit up Burrito Amigos drive-thru on 6th and Polk in Eugene, or drop by the Springfield shop at 42nd and Main. Get a big old fresh mocha and bacon breakfast burrito. Bacon and chocolate and coffee. In some states, those are the only 3 food groups. Best of all, you don't need to get out of your car at either of those locations. Of course, that breakfast burrito can also feature link sausage, chorizo, huevos rancheros, black Angus steak, or get it meatless. And of course, you can have a junior burrito or get the larger regular size on those days when you really need to fuel your morning. I'm Bill London, Burrito Amigos' biggest fan, and I do hereby attest coffee and a breakfast burrito from Burrito Amigos trumps any breakfast food requiring the application of milk. Burrito Amigos in Springfield and Eugene.
At GoDaddy, a domain name is the beginning of something awesome. Use it to create a website to promote your business. Open an online store to sell your products. Start a blog. Build your brand. You can even connect your domain to your LinkedIn or Facebook page. And GoDaddy customer support is always ready to help. What will you do with your domain name? Get a .com domain name for only $2.99 for the first year. Right now at GoDaddy.com. 2-year purchase required. Second year is $14.99.
The statements and views of this advertiser do not represent the views or opinions of this station.
Y chromosome Adam and mtDNA Eve. God said, man said.com. And there we saw giants, the sons of Anak, the perfect diet. God said, man said.com. God on biracial marriage. Hours of text and audio. 3-day Bible fast. Renews immune system. Which Bible? Which religion? Sin bones. God said, man said.com.
Today's top stories. In depth. This is the Wake Up Call on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
There needs to be a website. Bert said, Ernie said.com. This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones, featuring great breakfast burritos and fresh brewed, locally roasted coffee for a tasty start to your morning. Here's what's going on. Well, the militia members who have taken control of the Malheur Federal Wildlife Refuge in southeastern Oregon want it given back to the state of Oregon. Brad Ford has the story.
The leader of the group, Ammon Bundy, says this is about the rights of private citizens and the federal government's illegal taking of property.
So they will not come into our homes and take away our rights, and they will not come into our children's home and take away their rights.
Bundy says the federal government doesn't have the constitutional right to claim land for a wildlife refuge. They plan to return the property to local control.
We definitely have made a statement, but statements are not good enough.
Bundy says they'll work to remove the federal control over the land, but they didn't release details on how they'll do that.
Meanwhile, Dwight Hammond and his son Stephen Hammond, the subjects of that armed standoff and takeover outside of Burns, turned themselves in yesterday afternoon to a federal correctional facility in California. A judge last fall resentenced the pair to finish a mandatory 5-year federal minimum sentence for arson. Another judge had refused to impose. An appeals court later rejected claims it was unconstitutional. Meanwhile, the two Hammonds are asking the president for clemency. Brad Ford also says the sheriff of Harney County has a message for militia members who have taken control of that wildlife refuge.
Harney County Sheriff David Ward is accepting help from the Oregon State Police, other sheriffs in the state, and the FBI in dealing with militia members who took over the wildlife refuge.
We requested this additional support to make sure that the citizens of Harney County are safe. This is our top priority.
Ward had this message to Ammon Bundy and others controlling the federal refuge.
You said you were here to help the citizens of Harney County. That help ended when a peaceful protest became an armed occupation.
Ward would not say what was planned concerning the militia members. Brad Ford, KPNW News.
Yesterday, we told you about the search for a 31-year-old Cresswell man that's been going on for over a week. Mark Manderscheid disappeared December 26th after being seen in Oak Ridge. The man said he was going to Hills Creek Reservoir, then possibly to Eugene or Seattle. Yesterday, family members said that Manderscheid's Toyota 4Runner and his 4-year-old golden retriever Grover were both found in the woods about 8 miles outside of Oak Ridge. And last night, the Lane County Sheriff's Office had the bad news. They had located Mark Manderscheid, deceased, in the Salmon Creek area near Oak Ridge. A Lane County dive team recovered the body. The investigation into the death is ongoing. The Lane County Medical Examiner's Office will determine the cause of death. Lane County Commissioner Jay Bozovich delivered the annual State of the County address yesterday at Harris Hall. The theme of Bozovich's presentation was resiliency, and he shared a number of actions that Lane County undertook in 2015 to increase its financial and organizational resiliency, as well as a number of milestones that were reached by the county. In particular, outreach to veterans in crisis.
Veteran service officers in Health and Human Services provided service to 5,113 clients. 833 of those clients were served by our rural outreach in the cities of Florence, Cottage Grove, and Oak Ridge. Total compensation and payments received in the last fiscal year for all veterans and their families in Lane County was over $140 million.
Bozovich said while the county has implemented a variety of tactics to hold the budget in check, the county is still facing a general fund deficit next year. With freezing conditions up and down I-5 Monday, the weather outlook for this morning definitely looking up.
We'll see some light showers moving from south to north. Again, nothing too significant in terms of accumulation. And with temperatures sitting right above freezing, mostly it'll just be some rain, although it could be a little bit of freezing rain in some of the cooler valleys around the area.
Matthew Cullen, a meteorologist with the National Weather Service, says Wednesday is going to be a bit up and down.
Yeah, so a chance of some light rain moving through the area, but generally a drying trend as you get into the second part of the day, just a slight chance for much of the afternoon. And you may see some low clouds or perhaps some patchy fog around daybreak.
And then things start looking up as we hit the last half of the week.
So for the second half of the week, we're looking at a generally improving trend, just maybe a slight chance of some light rain as a little system kind of moves through the area, but generally a drying trend as we get towards the second half of the week, and slightly warmer temperatures as we get high temperatures back up to right around 40 or perhaps 41 or 42.
So the outlook, again, promising with the conditions. Could get colder, though, with temperatures possibly dipping into the high 20s leading into the weekend. Well, last year it was not a winter wonderland with mud on the mountains and ski slopes during the winter instead of fresh white powder. And the valleys, of course, suffered because of that, as did the entire state with drought conditions. Well, what a difference a year makes. Julie Keberly with the United States Department of Agriculture. She's a hydrologist there and is one of the folks that goes up and checks the snowpack in the Cascades. And she says there's been a dramatic improvement.
We have more snow today at most of our sites throughout the whole state, especially in the Willamette Basin, than we did at any one time last year.
Getting down to percentages, they're pretty amazing.
Well, for the Willamette, it's at it's well above normal. For the basin, we have 119% of normal for snowpack. And that's where last year was 35% of normal.
The hope is that the snow is going to stick around long enough for the valley to benefit from the runoff in the spring and summer months and to start refilling some of those reservoirs. Well, there is no need to go somewhere to register to vote in Oregon anymore. A new law automatically registers voters when they receive or renew their driver's licenses. During the last federal election, it was estimated that 30,000 Oregonians didn't vote because they missed the registration deadlines. The Secretary of State's office expects the new program, called Motor Voter, will register about 10,000 voters each month. Terminally ill patients in the state of Oregon will soon have a chance to try medication that's not been approved by the Food and Drug Administration. That bill passed with largely bipartisan support. It makes Oregon one of 24 states to have what's referred to as a right to try law. Well, a Corvallis man was arrested after hitting another man from behind with a bong, according to police. Officers responded to the lobby of the Benton County Jail at 1:30 Saturday. They arrived and contacted 42-year-old Jonathan Tucker, who was suffering from significant facial injuries, including a right swollen eye that was shut and filled with blood, as well as a cut. He said that he was attacked by 45-year-old Donald Howard of Corvallis, according to investigators. Tucker told police he was sitting on a couch when Howard punched him from behind while he was holding a bong. Police said Howard also threw the bong at Tucker's face. Officers interviewed a witness to the assault who corroborated the story. According to the Corvallis Police Department, police say Howard was later found and arrested on a charge of first-degree assault for causing serious physical injury with a dangerous weapon. He was booked into the Benton County Jail with bail set at $100,000. I thought the whole idea was that you smoked the pot and then you mellowed out and you just sat on the couch and ate Triscuits and watched cartoons. North Twin Lake in Oregon is going to remain off limits for fishing until later this winter. Not that there are any fish there. In mid-November, the Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife poured rotenone, a poison, into the lake to target illegally introduced brown bullhead catfish, but that also means that it slaughtered the other fish as well. A snowstorm hit the week after the rotenone treatment, so the agency won't be able to evaluate its effects until later this winter. The lake is normally open for fishing year-round. It's going to be restocked with rainbow trout possibly as soon as February. Rotenone is a root extract that comes from Peru. The treatment was originally planned for October, but moved to December because of a delay in receiving the poisonous extract. At 7:20, this look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones. You're up to date from KPNW.
Wake Up Call Sports on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Oregon coach Mark Helfrich has demoted Don Pelham after 2 years as the team's defensive coordinator. He'll now assume the linebackers coach post. Move not a complete surprise. The Ducks defense finished 93rd in the country or worse nationally in 8 defensive categories and set a school record for points allowed, 37.5 a game. A search for a replacement underway. The list of names will not include Eric Shenander. The outside linebackers coach has accepted a defensive coordinator position with Scott Frost at UCF. Another development yesterday, not, again, a surprise. Braylon Addison declaring for the 2016 NFL Draft. Sad to think the Alamo Bowl, his last in an Oregon uniform. Yet another possible departure possible with redshirt freshman quarterback Morgan Mahalik asking for a release from Oregon, which means he's at least contemplating a transfer. Oregon women's basketball team loses to USC 74-67. 11th ranked OSU. The women got ran by number 15 UCLA 71-51. Friday, it's civil war at Matthew Knight between the two teams. Men's college basketball had a barn burner. The top two teams in the country taking it to 3 overtimes. Finally, Kansas got a win at home over Oklahoma 109-106. The only other time a 1 and a 2 went overtime 3 times, 1957. It involved a player named Wilt, and it was a national championship game. NBA, the Portland Trailblazers got Damian Lillard back and a loss to go with it. They got whacked by the Memphis Grizzlies 91-78. NFL coach Tom Coughlin, he resigned after 12 seasons, 2 Super Bowl titles, but 3 consecutive losing seasons with the New York Giants. Chuck Pagano not only stays in Indy, but gets an extension with the Colts as their head coach. Wake Up Call Sports on KPNW, brought to you by Wetlands on Garfield in Eugene, your Westside neighborhood sports headquarters and pub at 722.
The most accurate forecast now. We have weather every 10 minutes during Wake Up Call on News Radio 1120. KPNW.
Good morning. If you're headed out that door in the next few minutes or you're already on those roads, we're looking at another dangerous situation this morning as temps right at freezing. We've had some freezing rain off and on throughout the night, and there are some slick spots out there. Now, it's not as bad as it was yesterday, but there's still some dangerous spots on the road if you're going to be out and about. Now, we've got showers off and on. Temps right now right at freezing at 32 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Light winds out of the north at 5 to 10. This afternoon, mostly cloudy skies look to continue across the region with a 70% chance of more showers. The big difference is the actual highs. Today, we'll actually get to the mid to low 40s out there, about 43 here in town. So once we get to about 11 a.m., most of the freezing spots should start to finally melt, and that should be the end of the freezing weather. Now, we will see small shots of rain throughout the week, so be prepared for that. But at this point, conditions will improve this afternoon. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation in the KMTR News Source 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a fantastic and safe day out there.
Hi, everybody. This is Don Essig with today's Motivational Minute, brought to you by Builders Electric, providing smart electrical service since 1960. So how's your satisfaction level today? Are you getting lots of things done? Are you performing at your best possible level? If you are, then you should be very satisfied. And Winston Churchill once remarked, "I am easily satisfied with the best." The ultimate in satisfaction comes when you look back on your accomplishments and know that you gave it 100%. You used your strengths and skills to carry out the ideas you wanted to accomplish. And if you did that, then you have every right to be satisfied. This is Don Essig with today's Motivational Minute. I'll be back tomorrow. Until then, have a positive day.
Today's Motivational Minute was sponsored by Builders Electric, voted the Register Guard's 2015 Reader's Choice #1 electrical contractor, providing positive service for over 55 years. That's Builders Electric, CCB 4296.
Hi, I'm Eric Harple with Realty One Group. You've heard our ads with Glenn Beck and Lars Larson for years, and like they said, I have been the top real estate agent in Lane County for more than 5 years. But honestly, who cares? What I care about is helping you get your home sold for the most money possible within your time frame. My team and I help more home sellers sell than any other agent, and most at full price or more. How? Massive marketing. When you're number one, you can do things the others can't. I'm not bragging. I'm applying for a job. I want to be your realtor. And if you're not happy, fire me. Mind you, I think you'll be happy because our bulletproof listing offers flexible commissions, the right to sell it yourself, cancel anytime. You're in control. We sell homes for top dollar regardless of the time of year, and we put the money in your pocket. For a free information package, call 541-286-3030. Call Harple Real Estate countywide, 541-286-3030. or harplehomes.com. Thank you.
I wasn't prepared to be a caregiver to Mom, but a little over a year ago, we realized she couldn't take care of herself without our help. And well, how could I not be there for her? I had no idea how hard it would be and just what I would need to know. Things I never thought of, like how to improve her mood and, even for me, ways to stay positive. Luckily, I found the Caregiving Resource Center from AARP. It had articles about the basics that got me started, but also information about the hurdles I was facing in this new role. I could even connect with experts and hear from others who had been in my place. I know this road we're on isn't an easy one, but I'm really happy to have the extra help for her and for me.
Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving. Articles, tips, and tools to help you both care for your loved one and care for yourself. This message is brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
We will never fully understand what we've asked of you or your families, asking you to put yourself in harm's way to endure it all. But we do understand that it's our turn, our duty, to keep you secure for the rest of your life. Wounded Warrior Project long-term support programs help our most severely ill or injured veterans live independently, at no cost, for life, so that they might stand at ease. Join us at findwwp.org.
Mornings are a little different with a wake-up call.
You're an embarrassment to nature. Do you know that?
Holloway in London. On News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Oh, that's where we're supposed to have... You know, it's one of those days. We're supposed to have our crew here. And this is what I was going to play to kind of get you ready for Matt and Renee.
In Tennessee last time we were here, heard one of the best tree teardowns I ever heard.
They quickly learn this area has secrets that are meant to remain hidden.
These things are here. The government could tell you if they were willing to.
The promise of Squatch activity draws the team near restricted land.
That guy sounds like he slows his voice down to be more dramatic. But he is the voice of the big show, The Adventures of Bobo, Cliff, Renee, and BFRO President Matt. Finding Bigfoot on Animal Planet. The new season started Sunday. And Renee and Matt, happy to join us, I hope. At least
Hi there. Hello. Thanks for having me.
We're happy to have you two, at least. Welcome to the
You're
show.
one of my favorite... You're in Eugene?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that town.
Now, what do you like best about it?
Because of the girls.
I go there for the fishing.
Really? Where do you like to fish?
Oh, well, I love steelhead fishing. I do spay and fly fishing down there in the Rogue, the Willie, the Umpqua. It's beautiful country.
I got a lot of fans there.
Yeah, thank you. That's great. Well, great. It's nice that you're coming out here to do something besides look for Squatch.
I will tell you that you can do those
They go hand in hand.
simultaneously. Yeah, that's what you can do that at the same time.
Okay. You and the other crew members, you guys spend a lot of time and energy looking for the Squatch. Where did both of your fascinations and your obsession get started and evolve?
Well, I was into it from a young age, seeing documentaries in the 70s, Legend of Boggy Creek and Mysterious Monsters, and then it was had a chance meeting with some guys who had a sighting years later, and then finally went to that location, which was down in Southern California, where I was living, and went up there and found tracks, and then I was really hooked after that.
Yeah, and all of us here on the show are about the same age, so we saw those documentaries and clips in search of, etc. I loved Bigfoot. Now, I will say that Bobo, Cliff, and Matt, if there wasn't a Finding Bigfoot, would still be out in the woods running around doing what we all do. I took a different path. I was out in the woods doing field work, and it wasn't until my father had passed away that I wanted to go back, found some clippings, found some Bigfoot references. I wanted to find the Bigfoot movies I watched with my dad as a little kid, and that's what led me to the BFRO. I don't know if you're aware of this thing called the Internet, the World Wide Web.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit.
That's what really, back in, previously, before the advent of the Internet, people were having to mail each other. And it was newsletters and stuff like that. It's really the BFRO, Matt, the largest database that's out there. People are able to communicate and report to each other. This is what is so huge. And I think the best part about Finding Bigfoot is you get to hear the witnesses' encounters.
Renee, you said you were doing field work. Doing field work doing what?
I'm a restoration ecologist, so I've done several projects. It started out with brown bear research in Alaska, down through BC, but specifically I was working for the National Oceanographic Atmospheric Administration. I worked on a restoration team. The riparian corridor, which is those woods surrounding a river, is my specialty to try to restore and preserve those. So I study everything from a brown bear all the way down to the macroinvertebrates, the trees, the water, the rocks.
Okay, then
I love rivers.
Then what do your fellow researchers that do that kind of research say about your shift into something that's referred to as cryptozoology?
When I was approached to come on the show, I said absolutely not. In fact, it was Matt who was calling me, and I said forget about it. And it was actually somebody at Discovery who said, I'll tell you what, why don't you go to your mentors at the University of Washington and NOAA, et cetera, ask them what they think about it, call me back in a week. And everybody was incredibly supportive. And my natural fear was, as a scientist, this is going to be detrimental. Not even realizing that this show would be going on the way it has. I thought this would be something that as I go for a future job or some type of funding in the future, you'd do an internet search on me, and this popped up. And it was quite the contrary. In fact, one thing that I do find really interesting, and I think another benefit of finding Bigfoot is bringing it to the public, is that bias, the negative, cynical aspect of people who are USGS, Forest Service, park rangers, even police officers. I think we've helped create a little bit more of an environment where they can come forward and share their experiences without the ridicule that unfortunately keeps so many from sharing their reports.
Okay, I'm sorry. Well, then, following up on that, Renee, the question is, do you believe there is such a thing as Bigfoot?
I don't believe there's evidence that supports that there's a biological undiscovered species. I have other beliefs. I believe what most Native Americans believe. It's more of a spiritual thing. I think a Haida elder said it best. If you look at a totem pole, you see a bear, wolf, raven. You and me, these animals, our physical body and our spiritual body is locked in this plane or realm, as they say it. And Bigfoot, Bigfoot, Sasquatch can come and go at will. Regardless of what it is, people are seeing something. And I think a lot of the reports, true, can be explained away, but there are so many that cannot. And I love myself a good mystery. I'm just trying to take for my own personal self, applying a scientific method and ruling these out. But at the end of the day, what are these folks seeing?
Talking to Matt and Renee from Finding Bigfoot. Okay, so on the other side of things, Matt, why don't you, for the the doubter, the skeptical scoffer, what is your rebuttal to what you just heard as far as people that don't think there is really any Sasquatch out there?
Well, I can tell you beyond shadow of a doubt that they're totally wrong. They definitely do exist. There's definitely lots of them in Oregon. I mean, not compared to other animals, they'd be this. They're the rarest large mammals that would exist in a state like Oregon. But there's still enough of them. Certainly enough of a breeding population. They're in the Cascades. They're in the coastal ranges. If you were to ask around among people who live up in the mountains outside of Eugene, you'd be surprised how many of them have either seen one themselves or know somebody who has. They're most definitely there. I can say that for sure. I've had one standing like 15 feet in front of me growling at me, and it took me years of pursuing these things to get that close to one, or actually have one of these things get that close to me. And I realized right after that I really had, even though I'd been pursuing it for a long time, I still didn't completely believe it until I had that encounter. So I understand how it'd be very difficult for somebody to believe that these animals exist until you actually lay eyes on one. But once you do, then it's almost like you, in a way, you don't really care that other people don't believe they don't exist. It'd be like somebody trying to imagine if dogs were very rare and very few people had seen one and none had ever been captured, and yet you had seen one and you had people saying, I don't believe that dogs really exist. And you just kind of look at them like, well, guess what? You're wrong. They do.
Okay, so you qualified your statement by saying people that live out there. With Oregon and all the people that are going out there to go hunting and to go hiking and camping, why haven't more people that say live in the country or live in the city but are out there spending a lot of time, why haven't they seen more Sasquatch and reported?
They mean more. I don't think you realize how many people have seen them out there. There's lots of them.
People who are living, trying to understand the question, people that live in the city who are out hiking, who are camping, who are working, are making reports.
Well, we did a town hall meeting, and we did an episode nearby there, and like in town, if they're publicized enough, we usually have more people showing up than we have room to let them in. I would venture to guess there's probably a couple of dozen or more people living in the city of Eugene who've had pretty close encounters with them. And I mean, in the county, there would be many dozens.
Renee, I want to go back to something that you said, that they're seeing something. what is it you think that they're seeing? If you don't specifically believe in this, huge animal that's wandering around out there, what is it that you think that folks are experiencing or seeing?
Well, again, none of us can say what the witness saw. That person had their experience. Nobody was there except that individual.
Correct.
But I think, as I approach the situation, I try to say, can we rule this out? Can we rule out that it was a misidentification? Can we rule out a psychological phenomenon of pareidolia? Can we rule out that they weren't hoax? Can we rule out, it's not a medical situation or their vision's impaired? All of these situations, I think that a lot of the times you can attribute it to it. At the end of the day, though, there are many, many reports over centuries where you cannot attribute to it. Now, what did that person see? I don't know. Now, my belief system, again, is coming back to, I believe what most Native Americans believe, where it's more of a spiritual type of thing, because myself being a spiritual person, I put it into that realm, which scientifically I can't prove or disprove either. So at the end of the day, I can't tell you what these folks are seeing, but I have my own belief system.
So what I'm hearing you say, or at least imply, and I don't mean to be putting words into your mouth, but that they're seeing something, spiritual, angel-like entity, deity thing.
You can call it a spirit, call it a demon, call it what you will. I don't know. I don't personally believe that it's a biological undiscovered species.
Okay.
Matt, what are some things that you do, or are there things that you do to promote or attract their attention, to make it happen?
Does bacon work?
Well, I think if they can smell it, you're in the right topography with the wind blowing the right way, I think they'd come to that. But they find each other when they're separated from long distances. I think there's established pathways that they follow, like ridge lines or along certain creeks and rivers. And when they're to find each other, they make sounds. And they'll, at certain times of year, at certain times of night, if they're trying to find each other, they make those sounds. And I heard them. And I was one of the first ones to actually get recordings of them many years ago, of like the loud, the male moaning howl. I was the first person to actually get a recording of that. And so I learned to imitate those sounds. What I used to do is the recordings that I had obtained, I would blast them out through speakers to get them to come around, and they do. But it's to really make use of that, you have to stay in an area for a while, and unfortunately for the show, we don't have that luxury to do that. So through my organization, which predated the show by many years, we try to let people know what to do, and there's some sound recordings that we make public, and there's some that we don't make public, because when we want to use them, we want to make sure that what we're hearing back is not somebody playing one of those recordings. Go ahead.
Do they have a rutting season?
I don't know. They are more vocal in fall, it seems, and so they seem to be finding, looking for each other. But that could be more logistics than anything else, that they're trying to figure out where others are so they can get together to hunt deer and fatten up before it gets too cold. But rutting, that's a deer thing.
Yeah, if this were a biological species, this would be some form of primate, and you would talk with that type of gestation period. I mean, they could birth at any time, like all other primates.
We absolutely have to let you go, but before we go, if somebody comes across a Sasquatch, what should they do?
You should go to Google and put in the word Bigfoot. The first website that comes up is the one for the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization, and there is a form that you can report it and a phone number. If you've got something really hot and happening, you can call, and I will get the message.
But they won't. They're not in danger. They don't.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
The people? Oh, no. These things, you would have to be shooting at one at close range for it to get it to attack you. They will turn and run. They're smart in that. They know that people have the means to hurt them, and even though they could pull your arms off, they will always retreat.
Bigfoot's a lover, not a fighter.
This week in Maine, later in the season, you're going to be up here in Oregon. Come back and see us. We'd love to have you back on the show. In studio.
I will be back to Eugene. Mm-hmm.
Thanks again, guys.
Come on in.
Thank you.
It's BFRO President Matt, and of course Renee from Finding Bigfoot, Animal Planet. Started last Sunday. Of course, it airs again Sunday, 10 o'clock. Finding Bigfoot with the Wake Up Call. 1120 KPNW.
It's the latest Wake Up Call market news. This is the KPNW Business Report.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Stocks are little changed today after yesterday's sell-off. Investors returning to work from the holidays were greeted by the sixth worst start to a year since 1927 for the S&P 500. It plunged 1.5% to erase $289 billion in market value yesterday, as weak Chinese manufacturing data unnerved equity markets. The sell-off started in China and persisted thanks to the flare-up in tensions between Saudi Arabia and Iran. This week, there are a number of economic reports that could change the game, including data on employment on Friday and minutes from the Federal Reserve's meeting that ended with the first rate increase since 2006. Auto sales numbers are out. Fiat Chrysler's December sales rose 13% on the back of strong Jeep deliveries. Jeep sales increased 42% last month. However, Ford and General Motors missed analyst projections. Ford sales rising 8.3%, while GM gained 5.7% last month. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Are you feeling lucky? Then test your fate at Three Rivers Casino Resort in Florence in the Pick 4 and Score, January 1st through the 31st. We'll have hot seat drawings every Saturday from 2 to 8 p.m. and every Sunday from noon to 4 p.m. The winner picks 4 briefcases. If the total inside is over $1,000, then you win $100,000. If the total is under $1,000, then you win that total. To qualify, just use your Players Club card on any slot machine or table game during the drawings. If your seat is chosen, then you get to play Pick 4 and Score. Winning never felt so easy. Visit threeriverscasino.com for all the details. Choose your destiny at Three Rivers Casino Resort, because things are luckier here.
Anything but typical. Anything but cliche. Anything but routine. The Wake Up Call on News Radio 1120. KPNW.
News Radio 1120 KPNW. Thanks for joining us this morning. It is 7:43. Research conducted at the University of Alberta, of course in Canada, in case you didn't know. If you were a product of the public school system. Anyway, has found that the health benefits of resveratrol, a compound found in red wine, are similar to those that we get from exercise. And red wine over a heavy session, is red wine better than a heavy session on the cross trainer? Apparently, a glass of red wine is equal to an hour at the gym. At least that's what this says. We're going to talk now to Warren Honeycutt. He's a 6-time Mr. America finalist. He's the author of Get Lean for Life, 7 Keys to Lasting Weight Loss. Warren, thanks for being with us on the Wake Up Call.
Thank you, guys, and pleasure always.
All right, so the question here is, you know, for folks that maybe are unable to exercise for whatever reason, I mean, do you think that this has any credibility or validity whatsoever?
Red wine certainly has benefit, and the reason for it is, as you mentioned, the compound of, I always have problems with that word, so if you could say it for me again, I would appreciate it. Resveratrol. I don't get it. I can't say it.
Resveratrol. And I mispronounced it the first time. Go ahead.
Okay. It's easy to do, and I have problems with it. I know what it is, and there are benefits. I must say, and this wouldn't be, I think, the first time that people have seen heading that as you get into the story in the study, it's not quite exactly what your takeaway was from reading the heading. So saying that is a bit of a disclaimer. There are great benefits for it. They do help, and it does help red wine with circulatory, heart, veins, arteries. The other thing, though, that it doesn't do, and this is the main reason most people at least are active in a gym or home, and that is to tone, trim, and shape muscle, lose body fat, and it doesn't do anything for the lungs. So that said, I recommend a glass, and when I say a glass, I'm not talking about, you know, a big 16, 20-ounce thing. We're talking 5 ounces here. Is great. If you're a guy, everyone says, all the medical professionals, that 2 glasses is fine, and that is only red wine. It's not vodka. It's not beer. It's not whiskey. So on and so forth. And that is
that's sad.
Yeah. Now, on the other hand, if you want to go overboard and take 3 or 4 glasses, it's not going to be the same benefit, but you won't care.
That's a good point.
But anyway, and beyond that study, and there's many studies that have been done, but one study was done in Vienna, and they did see that the sugar levels with a glass of red wine stayed more stable than without, and that has great benefit, especially for pre-diabetic conditions.
All right, let's change the subject completely. I mean, you're somebody that obviously most of your life you've been involved in fitness in one way or another. My question here, everybody always talks about, it's New Year's, I'm going to make a New Year's resolution to lose weight, blah, 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 and then they fail at it.
Yeah.
What is just a simple thing, one simple thing, that the average person could do that wouldn't change their schedule a lot, that would just help them lose weight?
The one and the biggest, and if I have just 10 seconds, I always say, and I was doing the show not long ago up in St. Louis, and they asked that question, and the answer is take sugar and get it out of your house and out of your system, and you will live better, you will look better, you will lose weight, you will have more energy, you will think more clearly, and there's a whole plethora of other benefits with that one thing, and it doesn't take any time. As a matter of fact, it takes just as much time to wish as it does to plan. So if you go about the new year with a new resolution of losing weight, that one thing will do it.
Okay,
that
when
one
you
thing. And you don't have to exercise. I certainly encourage people to move because our bodies are made to move, but you can lose weight. And as a matter of fact, we're starting tomorrow a Sugar Busters Club with a broadcaster in St. Louis that took me up on this about 2 months ago, and he's just he's an evangelist for the Sugar Busters. That would be the one thing I would suggest.
You talked about cardio being important and the fact that the red wine doesn't affect that, and the heart and lungs, I mean, muscle tone, things like that. It is important to get the exercise. So in addition to get the sugar the heck out of the house, as far as maintaining some kind of regular, consistent exercise program, what is something that you found people to have success with?
It is honestly, again, very easy and not nearly as complicated, nor does it take as much time as most conventional wisdom tells us. 3 times a week, 30-minute sessions with resistance training. And when we're talking resistance, we're talking about, the dumbbells, barbells, cables in a gym. You don't have to have those. You can do them with resistance bands at home. And then follow that with 15 minutes, 3 days a week, of cardio and aerobic. And that is to get your heart rate up, treadmill, walking, power walking, etc. And that will create a tremendous change in 95% of the population that do it. I was fortunate enough to be a finalist, top 5 in the nation 6 times in Mr. America, and I never trained more than 2 hours a week with weights.
Wow.
And that's what I do right now. 4 sessions, 30 minutes.
I don't know if that's bragging or if that's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I don't say it as a brag because anybody can do it, and I hope the takeaway is, well, if you can be 60 next month, 3 years old, perfect health, and have a body fat of 6-7%, then holy cow, what can I do with what I just said, 3 times a week, and that'll do it. And most people think they have to go to the gym and spend an hour, at a brutal pace. And the second day, they go, I can't do that again. I can barely get out of bed. And so, to do it long term. And the other is, and New Year's resolutions, and I made a live presentation yesterday and brought this up. I encourage people to not make New Year's resolutions. That's a big elephant to swallow. Yeah. I encourage people to make New Day resolutions. And the day turns into a week into a month. Now it's a habit, and then it goes into a year.
That's a good point.
Warren, do you have a website that you'd want to tell people about?
Sure. Appreciate and welcome any visitors to getlean.guru, G-U-R-U.
All right. Warren, a pleasure talking to you this morning. Thanks for joining us again on the Wake Up Call.
Thank you, and hope you have a healthy and happy and wonderful new year.
Well, thank you, Warren, and you too. Warren Honeycutt joining us again. He's the author of Get Lean for Life, 7 Keys to Lasting Weight Loss on the Wake Up Call, where it is 7:51.
SquareTrade does not cover lost or stolen items. Savings based on 2-year iPhone plan, one claim compared to Assured total equipment coverages of August 10, 2015.
Getting a new iPhone? Don't overpay for phone insurance. Save with SquareTrade Phone Protection instead. Phone insurance through your wireless carrier can cost as much as $11 every month, plus up to a $199 deductible when you break your phone. SquareTrade iPhone protection is less than $5 a month. We can save you over $240.
Start saving with SquareTrade now. Visit SquareTrade.com. That's SquareTrade.com.
How long would you wait for your shower to get hot? How long would you wait for your cell phone to fully charge? How long would you wait to get relief from your nasal congestion? If you're congested now and you want powerful relief now, use Afrin No Drip. Afrin starts working in seconds and keeps working for 12 hours. So, why wait? When you can start to get relief in seconds with Afrin. Afrin, powerful congestion relief without the wait. Use as directed. For more information, go to Afrin.com.
Northwest Burger inside the 5th Street Market has burgers so amazing, they're an experience all their own. Freshly ground meat, local produce, combined with the creativity of local chef Garrett Kirsch, made for a burger experience like no other. Northwest Burger, the official burger of the Wake Up Call.
Hey, Russell Wilson here, and I know how important exercise is.
It's essential. It's essential.
With Play 60, United Way and the NFL are helping kids stay active and play at least 60 minutes a day.
Healthy kids, healthy kids.
But what this place needs is you. To donate or volunteer, go to unitedway.org/play60 because great things happen when we live united.
Donate, donate.
Are you guys going to do that every time?
Yes, of course. Yes, of course.
Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
The beginning of a new year started off right during Rite Aid's 2016 Starting Points, because every week through January 23rd, you can ring in the values with 1,000 Plenty Points worth $10 in savings when you spend $30 on participating products with your Wellness Plus with Plenty card. That adds up to big savings every week for the entire month, but only at Rite Aid. With us, it's personal. Worth at least $10. Limit 2 offers per card per week. Plenty is a rewards program. Terms and conditions apply. See plenty.com/terms for details.
If you're a man age 40 or older, listen closely to the following message. Are urinary problems interfering with the quality of your life, causing urgency, countless trips to the bathroom, or you to wake up in the middle of the night? You may be one of millions of men suffering from a condition called BPH that causes the prostate to enlarge. Urologists in Eugene are conducting a research study to evaluate the use of an investigational drug and device for BPH, which is hoped to be a less invasive alternative to surgery. Men 40 and older who continue to suffer from urinary symptoms of BPH are needed to participate in this research study at no cost. Compensation for your time may also be provided. If you would like to learn more about this local research study opportunity, please call 888-388-4BPH or log on to bphclinicaltrial.com. That's 888-388-4BPH. 888-388-4BPH.
Okay, ready?
Call away in London.
Okay.
And the wake-up call.
I've got good news.
News Radio 1120, KPNW.
I'm Gary Conley with today's Money Minute. Recently, I suggested that one of the main problems with all renewable energy, how to store the excess for use when the wind doesn't blow or the sun doesn't shine, could be solved if vanadium redox batteries get cheap enough to be widely used. But even if that happens, competing with natural gas-fired power plants is going to be tough. First, you've got to displace what already exists in a way that makes economic sense, maybe by undercutting the cost of the fuel, which in the case of natural gas will be more than a little difficult. Here's the nugget. Research done at the University of Texas suggests that domestic natural gas production will accelerate for the next 30 years. The study examined 15,000 actual wells drilled in the Barnett Shale, the first major deposit developed with modern technology. Most were drilled in the last 10 years, and the conclusion drawn from this real-world experience is that there is a very large amount of natural gas that can be produced for about $4 per 1,000 BTUs, not much above the recent price of $3.45. If so, renewable energy will have to struggle to compete on a level playing field for a long, long time, and may well have to be propped up by taxpayers for decades. unless, of course, some disruptive, innovative breakthrough comes along first. I'm Gary Conley, and that's today's Money Minute.
Do you eat to escape? Is your weight affecting your life? Is your life affecting your weight? You're not alone. If you're concerned about your eating habits, contact Overeaters Anonymous. After all, it's not what you're eating, it's what's eating you.
KPNW weather brought to you by Mattress Mania in Albany, Eugene, Springfield, and Corvallis. Save like crazy.
Good morning. If you're headed out that door in the next few minutes or you're already on those roads, we're looking at another dangerous situation this morning as temps right at freezing. We've had some freezing rain off and on throughout the night, and there are some slick spots out there. Now, it's not as bad as it was yesterday. There's still some dangerous spots on the road if you're going to be out and about. Now, we've got showers off and on. Temps right now right at freezing at 32 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Light winds out of the north at 5 to 10. This afternoon, mostly cloudy skies look to continue across the region with a 70% chance of more showers. The big difference is the actual highs. Today, we'll actually get to the mid to low 40s out there, about 43 here in town. So once we get to about 11 a.m., most of the freezing spots should start to finally melt, and that should be the end of the freezing weather. Now, we will see small shots of rain throughout the week, so be prepared for that. But at this point, conditions will improve this afternoon. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation in the KMTR News Source 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a fantastic and safe day out there.
With our eye on the stock tickers, this is the Wake Up Call Business Report on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Stocks are little changed today after yesterday's sell-off. Investors returning to work from the holidays were greeted by the sixth worst start to a year since 1927 for the S&P 500. It plunged 1.5% to erase $289 billion in market value yesterday, as weak Chinese manufacturing data unnerved equity markets. The sell-off started in China and persisted thanks to the flare-up in tensions between Saudi Arabia and Iran. This week, there are a number of economic reports that could change the game, including data on employment on Friday and minutes from the Federal Reserve's meeting that ended with the first rate increase since 2006. Auto sales numbers are out. Fiat Chrysler's December sales rose 13% on the back of strong Jeep deliveries. Jeep sales increased 42% last month. However, Ford and General Motors missed analyst projections. Ford sales rising 8.3%, while GM gained 5.7% last month. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
An armed standoff by U.S. citizens against the federal government. I'm Lars Larson with the Northwest Report's commentary in just a moment. Have you ever thought about all the money you spend at the pharmacy buying a shaver, and it's just a cheap piece of plastic? Harry's.com was started by two guys passionate about creating a better shaving experience. They bought a blade factory in Germany. They turn out the best blades, and the starter kit, $15, and it's delivered to your house, and delivery is free. Go to Harry's.com right now. Enter my code name Lars in the promo box. $5 off your first order. Enter my code name Lars for $5 off your first order. That's Harry's.com. Change the way you shave forever. The Cliven Bundy clan from Nevada don't like the federal government much. The fact is they've been leasing from the federal government for a long, long time. But when they didn't like the new conditions of their lease, they told the federal government they weren't going to pay the bill. There's a problem with that. As long as you're leasing, the landlord has the right to set the rules. And the landlord in this case is the U.S. government on behalf of the American people who own that land. Now, members of the Bundy clan have taken over a federal government building that was empty in a largely empty corner of the state of Oregon, and they say they're going to stay long enough to force the government to give all that land back to the people. Well, I wish them good luck with that, but it seems they're having a little trouble. Somebody forgot to bring enough snacks. It's a joke, but it's not that funny. For Northwest Reports, I'm Lars Larson.
Depend on us for breaking news from the local neighborhood to the global one. We are News Radio 1120 KPNW, Eugene, Springfield.
This is a Fox News alert. I'm Dave Anthony. The Taliban goes on the attack in Afghanistan, and there are American casualties. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
One U.S. Special Operations fighter was killed and another was wounded in a battle with the Taliban in the Helmand province. A defense official also confirms to Fox News that a third soldier, who is not Special Ops, was also hurt. It's believed that soldier was from a U.S. military medevac helicopter that sustained damage as it tried to reach the wounded when mortars landed nearby. That helicopter now on the ground. Dave.
Rachel, she's for new gun control in California.
We have a ridiculously high rate of gun violence in our country.
He is against President Obama's executive actions in Alabama.
I think it's unconstitutional and shouldn't happen.
Fox's John Decker has details about the order that's coming live at the White House.
Surrounded by gun violence victims, the president will announce an executive order that expands the definition of who counts as a gun dealer. The new rule would require more gun sellers to be licensed and conduct background checks, regardless of whether their transactions are conducted at gun shows or through the internet. The president's proposals to spend an additional $500 million to improve access to mental health care and to provide resources for 200 new ATF agents would require approval from the Republican-controlled Congress. Dave?
John, Republicans are not happy. Some presidential candidates vow to repeal the order, and
Texas Republican John Culberson says he'll prevent the Justice Department from funding any potential order from the president. Writing to the Attorney General, he will use every tool at his disposal to restrict federal funding.
Fox's Jared Halpern. Gunmaker stocks are rising this morning. Smith & Wesson's up 12% on what's a calmer day on Wall Street. The Dow's down a point and Nasdaq's up 11. Drought-stricken California is about to get a lot of rain, maybe more than a foot in the next 2 weeks, and that's led to flash flood watches and worries of mudslides in wildfire-charred areas. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
You've got to get into Mattress Mania for our January clearance event. Our prices are unbeatable. Get a memory foam mattress for only $2.99. Mattress Mania. Save like crazy. Eugene, Springfield, Albany, and Corvallis.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues designed to help you help your child thrive in school and in life. Understood.org, because understanding is everything. Brought to you by Understood.org and the Ad Council.
Hey, parents, pick up your kids without embarrassing them with OMGPS, a navigation system that tells you how far away you need to park when you pick them up.
Keisha at mall. Proceed to outer food court.
Thanks, OMGPS.
OMGPS is not available in stores because it doesn't exist. But that's okay. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent, because kids in foster care don't need perfection. They need you. For more information on how you can adopt, go to adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt Us Kids, and the Ad Council.
Again, our top Fox story. The Taliban goes on the attack in Afghanistan. One U.S. Special Operations fighter was killed and 2 others were wounded. Again, President Obama's executive actions on gun control are getting a lot of Republican attention on the campaign trail. Fox's Jeff Manasso is live in Missouri Valley, Iowa.
Dave, Marco Rubio, fresh off a national security speech in New Hampshire, is now back on the campaign trail here in the Hawkeye State and blasting any notion of President Obama's tweak of the Second Amendment.
This executive order is just one more way to make it harder for law-abiding people to buy weapons or to be able to protect their families. It's going to do nothing to prevent violence or crimes.
Rubio is trying to gain ground in Iowa polls against Donald Trump and Ted Cruz, who've also been very critical of the president's executive actions and policies. Cruz hops back aboard his tour bus here in Missouri Valley, Iowa shortly, and then heads north on his 6-day, 28-stop push to next month's Iowa caucus. Dave?
Jeff, Hillary Clinton supports the president's executive order, and the Democratic frontrunner campaigns in Iowa as well today. And then she will also propose a new initiative directed at boosting autism screening, treatment, and research. Tanya Couch will be in court in L.A. today, facing extradition to Texas. She's the mother of the teen accused of skipping probation and fleeing to Mexico, where she and Ethan Couch were caught. Fox's Jonathan Hunt outside the court in L.A. says her attorney maintains,
while the public may not like what she did, may not agree with what she did, or may have strong feelings against what she did, make no mistake, Tanya did not violate any law of the state of Texas, and she is eager to have her day in court.
She can get up to 10 years in prison. Ethan's still in Mexico. He infamously avoided jail time in a drunk driving crash that was deadly using a ridiculed affluenza defense. Bill Cosby's wife's trying to avoid her deposition tomorrow in a defamation lawsuit 7 women filed against the comedian. Camille Cosby's lawyers are asking a federal judge to postpone it while they appeal a ruling that she's testifying. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News Radio.
Good morning. Hola. Cheers. Welcome in. Tuesday, January 5th, hour number 3. Today, rain. In fact, the next couple of days going to have potential freezing fog and freezing rain kind of mixed in here and there. High about 40 today, 60% chance of rain. Chance of rain tonight, 30%, with a dip down to 30 degrees. Currently 34. Here at 11:20 KPNW. Coming up, Julie, for the first time this year from Lucky Paws, might be able to add to the family a fur person. Also going to talk to a workplace culture expert about toxic employees. Do what you can to rid yourself of those toxic employees. Not beneficial. Coming up, of course, news. Hopefully at this point you have a good idea where the closures and delays are. I guess notably now what we turn our attention to is LCC, the Eugene and Cottage Grove campuses opening up at 12 o'clock. 12 noon, a little bit of a surprise. Florence, regular hours. And then Blatchley, Crow Applegate, Lorraine. Oh, check that. Crow Applegate, Lorraine is now closed. They've been doing a 2-hour delay for much of the morning. Blatchley, Fern Ridge, Junction City, all on the 2-hour delay. Scioto down in Lynn County. Scioto School District got the 2-hour delay as well. Bus 4 up there, Rogers Mountain. That one is on the snow routes. Oak Hill, 2 hours delay. And, of course, Willamette Leadership Academy is closed. So at this point, we're getting into the start of school. So I think that hopefully you have an idea what your situation is. And just be careful out there.
Yeah.
If you see anything that bears reporting on the roadways, get it to us, 541-485-KPNW.
Good idea. Yeah, we've got some news for you. A bunch of news, as a matter of fact. We're going to start off over on the other side of the state because of that standoff going on over in Malheur County. We've got some details and updates on that particular set of circumstances. We're also going to follow up on a story we reported yesterday about a missing man in Lane County that has been the subject of a search since the day after Christmas. We'll also take a look at the state of the county. Jay Bozovich, the chairman of the board, so to speak, gave the annual State of the County address yesterday. We'll tell you what he thinks is one of the big wins for the county. We'll take a look at those stories and more, all coming up, brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones, right here on KPNW.
News time, 8:08. Good morning.
Fall is officially hit with cold, rainy weather. Don't start a chilly day with a bleak breakfast. Warm your spirits with a breakfast burrito and coffee from Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones. You can always enjoy a fresh cup of coffee at any Burrito Amigos location, but if you need a great espresso, hit up Burrito Amigos drive-thru on 6th and Polk in Eugene, or drop by the Springfield shop at 42nd and Main. Get a big old fresh mocha and bacon breakfast burrito. Bacon and chocolate and coffee. In some states, those are the only 3 food groups. Best of all, you don't need to get out of your car at either of those locations. Of course, that breakfast burrito can also feature link sausage, chorizo, huevos rancheros, black Angus steak, or get it meatless. And of course, you can have a junior burrito or get the larger regular size on those days when you really need to fuel your morning. I'm Bill London, Burrito Amigos' biggest fan, and I do hereby attest coffee and a breakfast burrito from Burrito Amigos trumps any breakfast food requiring the application of milk. Burrito Amigos in Springfield and Eugene.
Tired of long wait times and high prices at your local boat repair shop? The Boat Dock LLC Marine Repair in Springfield has the fastest turnover. With state-of-the-art test equipment and on-site test tank, the jobs are done right the first time. From simple tune-ups and water pumps to complete repowers on all types of marine power boats, the Boat Dock LLC is the shop to visit at 1252 30th Street in Springfield. A Better Business Bureau accredited business. Visit their website at eugeneboatrepair.com. That's eugeneboatrepair.com.
Not on my watch, they say, as they volunteer to serve, as they move out, stand firm, and take fire. So, not on our watch, we say, to the severely ill or injured veterans who can't get the care they deserve to live full and independent lives. Even when there's no government funding or a nursing home seems like the only option, we won't leave one warrior behind. Not on our watch. Join us at findwwp.org.
It's the big happenings in the Valley and the state. This is the Wake Up Call on 1120 KPNW with Bill London.
Good morning. This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones, featuring great breakfast burritos and fresh brewed, locally roasted coffee for a tasty start to your morning. Come on, just hug a burrito. Here's what's going on. The militia members who have taken control of the Malheur Federal Wildlife Refuge in southeastern Oregon want it given back to the state of Oregon. Brad Ford has more.
The leader of the group, Ammon Bundy, says this is about the rights of private citizens and the federal government's illegal taking of property.
So they will not come into our homes and take away our rights, and they will not come into our children's home and take away their rights.
Bundy says the federal government doesn't have the constitutional right to claim land for a wildlife refuge. They plan to return the property to local control.
We definitely have made a statement, but statements are not good enough.
Bundy says they'll work to remove the federal control over the land, but they didn't release details on how they'll do that.
Meanwhile, Dwight Hammond and his son Stephen Hammond, the subjects of the armed standoff and takeover outside of Burns, turned themselves in yesterday afternoon to a federal correction facility in California. A judge last fall resentenced the pair to finish a mandatory 5-year federal minimum sentence for arson another judge had refused to impose. An appeals court later rejected claims it was an unconstitutional sentence. The Hammonds have now asked the president for clemency, according to their lawyer. Brad Ford says the sheriff of Harney County has a message for the militia members who have taken control of that building on the Malheur Wildlife Refuge.
Harney County Sheriff David Ward is accepting help from the Oregon State Police, other sheriffs in the state, and the FBI in dealing with militia members who took over the wildlife refuge.
We requested this additional support to make sure that the citizens of Harney County are safe. This is our top priority.
Ward had this message to Ammon Bundy and others controlling the federal refuge.
You said you were here to help the citizens of Harney County. That help ended when a peaceful protest became an armed occupation.
Ward would not say what was planned concerning the militia members. Brad Ford, KPNW News.
Yesterday, we told you about the search for a 31-year-old Cresswell man who's been missing for over a week. Mark Manderscheid disappeared on December 26th after being seen in Oak Ridge. He had said that he was going to Hills Creek Reservoir, then possibly to Eugene or Seattle. Yesterday, the family members said on Facebook that Manderscheid's Toyota 4Runner and 4-year-old Golden Retriever Grover was found in the woods about 8 miles outside of Oak Ridge. Well, last night, the Lane County Sheriff's Office announced the sad news that Mark Manderscheid was found dead in the Salmon Creek area near Oak Ridge. A Lane County dive team recovered the body. The investigation into the death is ongoing. The Lane County Medical Examiner's Office is going to determine the cause of death. Lane County Commissioner Jay Bozovich delivered the annual State of the County address yesterday. The theme of Bozovich's presentation was resiliency. He shared a number of actions Lane County undertook in 2015 to increase its financial and organizational resiliency, as well as a number of milestones reached by the county. In particular, outreach to veterans in crisis.
Veteran service officers in Health and Human Services provided service to 5,113 clients. 833 of those clients were served by our rural outreach to the cities of Florence, Cottage Grove, and Oak Ridge. Total compensation and payments received in the last fiscal year for all veterans and their families in Lane County was over $140 million.
Bozovich said while the county has implemented a variety of tactics to try and hold the budget in check, the county is still going to be facing a general fund deficit next year. Well, with freezing conditions up and down I-5 Monday, the weather outlook for today, considerably better.
We'll see some light showers moving from south to north. Again, nothing too significant in terms of accumulation. And with temperatures sitting right above freezing, mostly it'll just be some rain, although it could be a little bit of freezing rain in some of the cooler valleys around the area.
According to Matthew Cullen, meteorologist with the National Weather Service, tomorrow should be a bit on the up and down side.
Yeah, so a chance of some light rain moving through the area, but generally a drying trend as you get into the second part of the day, just a slight chance for much of the afternoon. And you may see some low clouds or perhaps some patchy fog around daybreak.
And then the second half of the week, not bad.
So for the second half of the week, we're looking at a generally improving trend, just maybe a slight chance of some light rain as a little system kind of moves through the area, but generally a drying trend as we get towards the second half of the week, and slightly warmer temperatures as we get high temperatures back up to right around 40 or perhaps 41 or 42.
Yeah, but at night, things are going to get cold during that dry out, with highs or lows expected to be in the high 20s. Well, speaking of the weather, last year was not a winter wonderland. I think we can definitively say that, with mud on the mountains and the ski slopes all winter long. The valleys suffered with drought conditions as well during the warm months, with little water coming out of the reservoirs. And now the thing is, how much more snow are we going to get? Julie Keverly, with a hydrologist for the United States Department of Agriculture, says that this year has been a drastic improvement.
We have more snow today at most of our sites throughout the whole state, especially in the Willamette Basin, than we did at any one time last year.
As far as the percentages, they're pretty amazing.
Well, for the Willamette, it's it's well above normal. For the basin, we have 119% of normal for snowpack. And that's where last year was 35% of normal.
The hope is the snow is going to stick around long enough for the valley to benefit from the runoff in the spring and the summer months. Well, no need to go somewhere to register to vote in the state of Oregon anymore. A new state law automatically registers voters when they receive or renew their driver's licenses. It was called the Motor Voter Bill. During the last federal election, it was estimated that about 30,000 Oregonians did not vote because they missed registration deadlines. The Secretary of State's office expects the new program to register about 10,000 voters each month. Although, just because they're registered, it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to take the time to vote. Terminally ill patients in the state will soon have a chance to try medication that has not been approved by the Food and Drug Administration. The bill passed with largely bipartisan support and makes Oregon one of 24 states to have a right to try law. A Corvallis man was arrested after hitting another man from behind with a bong, according to police. Officers responded to the lobby of the Benton County Jail around 1:30 on Saturday. They arrived and contacted 42-year-old Jonathan Tucker, who'd been suffering from significant facial injuries, including a swollen right eye that was filled with blood and a cut that was bleeding. He said that he was attacked by 44-year-old Donald Howard of Corvallis. Tucker told police he was sitting on the couch when Howard punched him from behind while holding a bong. Police said Howard then threw the bong at Tucker's face. It hit. Officers interviewed a witness to the assault who corroborated the story, according to the Corvallis Police Department. Police said Howard was later found and arrested on a charge of first-degree assault for causing serious physical injury with a dangerous bong. He was booked into the Benton County Jail with bail set at $100,000. Well, North Twin Lake in Oregon is going to remain off limits for fishing until later this winter. Not that there are any fish there right now. It's because they're all dead. In mid-November, the Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife poured rotenone poison into the lake to target illegally introduced brown bullhead catfish. But that also meant that it killed the other fish. A snowstorm hit the week after the rotenone treatment, so the agency's not going to be able to evaluate the effects until later this winter. The lake is normally open for fishing year-round. It's going to be restocked with rainbow trout, possibly as early as February. Rotenone is a root extract that comes from Peru. The treatment was originally planned for October, but was moved to December because of a delay in receiving that particular extract. And an Oregon woman says more than 50 high-end knives and swords were stolen from her Grants Pass store. Robin Boone of Dannel Boone's Trading Post, yes, Dannel, says the two windows had the bars over the glass and were broken, and a vehicle may have actually been used to pull the bars off the side of the building. She says the thieves left the less expensive knives and made off with several Damascus knives, which sell for about $180 each. The thieves also ransacked the office and stole the video surveillance box. Boone and her family have owned the store for more than 30 years. It's 8:20. This look at the news brought to you by Burrito Amigos, the friendly ones. You're up to date from KPNW.
Wake Up Call Sports on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Oregon coach Mark Helfrich has demoted Don Pelham after 2 years as the team's defensive coordinator. He'll now assume the linebackers coach post. Move not a complete surprise. The Ducks defense finished 93rd or worse nationally in 8 defensive categories and set a school record for points allowed, 37.5 per game. A search for a replacement is underway. List of names, however, will not include Eric Shenander. The outside linebackers coach has accepted a defensive coordinator position with Scott Frost at UCF. Another development yesterday, also not a surprise, Braylon Addison declaring for the 2016 NFL Draft. Yet another possible departure is possible with redshirt freshman quarterback Morgan Mahalik asking for a release from Oregon, which means he's at least contemplating a transfer. Oregon women's basketball team loses to USC 74-67. 11th ranked OSU, the women got ran over by UCLA, number 15, the Bruins, 71-51. Oregon State, Civil War, the women at Matthew Knight on Friday. Men's college basketball had a barn burner. The top two teams in the country taking it to 3 overtimes. Finally, Kansas got a win at home over Oklahoma, 109-106. The only other time a game with a number 1 and a number 2 ever went 3 overtimes, 1957, the national championship game. And it involved a player named Wilt. NBA Portland Trailblazers got Damian Lillard back as a gift and a loss to go with it. They got whacked by the Grizzlies, 91-78. NFL coach Tom Coughlin resigned after 12 seasons, 2 Super Bowl titles, but 3 consecutive losing seasons with the New York Giants. Chuck Pagano not only stays in Indy, but gets an extension with the Colts. There was rumors that they were interested in Sean Payton. Going to stick with Chuck. Wake Up Call Sports on KPNW, brought to you by Wetlands on Garfield in Eugene, your Westside neighborhood sports headquarters and pub. At 8:22.
KPNW weather with Chris Nation. Brought to you by Mattress Mania, where you save like crazy.
Good morning to you and yours. Once again, we're seeing dangerous conditions out there on the road. Now, it's not as cold as it was yesterday, but we're still seeing spots of freezing rain off and on across the valley, and some roads are still fairly icy out there, so take caution. Otherwise, mostly cloudy skies are dominating, with temps right now right at freezing of 32 degrees. We've got light winds out of the north at 5 to 10. We're tracking freezing rain off and on the radar out there, moving through the area. Now, this afternoon, mostly cloudy skies look to continue. We have another 70% chance of showers off and on, but unlike yesterday, the highs will actually climb today into the mid to low 40s with a high of about 42 in town. That means by about 11 a.m., most of the freezing spots should finally melt away. Now, we will see small shots off and on throughout the week, but no major systems, and the temps look to continuously climb up until we're back into the mid-40s for most of the week. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation in the KMTR News Source 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a fantastic but safe day.
Tune in to Real Estate Today, weekdays at 5:30 p.m.
I'm Bob Nelson, real estate investment broker and exchange specialist. Cascade Exchange Services is my choice for completing tax-deferred exchanges. Megan McMahon, who's a CPA, is my choice of the person to handle my tax-deferred exchanges. It's a locally owned company. They do business on a nationwide basis, same-day document preparation, and she's always available for free and very excellent consultation. Contact Megan at Cascade Exchange Services.
Affair of the Heart annually attracts thousands of women who are interested in learning about health and fitness, fashion and beauty, home, hearth, and garden. It's Lane County's premier women's event, and we're accepting vendor applications for 2016 now. Be one of the select businesses talking directly to women of all ages. It's fun and profitable. Log on to theaffairoftheheart.com to download your application. Please submit it soon to get the best booth selection. The Affair of the Heart, coming February 11th, 2016.
Sponsored by Oregon Imaging, Valley River Center, and Oakway Fitness.
Men, if you're like me, you appreciate the feeling of a clean, smooth shave from a quality blade. The sort of shave that cuts clean, without the burn. So why are you messing around with generic razors that cost $32 for an 8-pack, when you can shave with Harry's high-quality German-engineered blades for half the price? And if saving money and a clean shave isn't incentive enough, Harry's will give you their starter set, complete with a razor, 3 of their world-famous blades, and shaving cream for just $15. And shipping is always free. We'll also give you $5 off your first order. Our way of saying thank you for trying us. How are we able to save you all this money and still give you the best shave you'll ever enjoy? By owning the factory that manufactures them. That's how. So go to harrys.com right now and enter code 2828 at checkout. That's harrys.com, code 2828.
Hey kids, let mom help with your science project.
This new mom wants her kids' science project to thrive. Too bad she hasn't cracked a science book since 1985.
A metathesis reaction?
Compounds, mixtures, and elements. Even this baking soda volcano is too big of an experiment. Whoa. Now she's completely forgotten the periodic table. Now she's burning a hole through the kitchen table. Burning with science. But her kids' love for their mom is truly transparent. Proof you don't have to be perfect.
to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of siblings in foster care will take you just as you are. For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
So here's something to consider if you're having financial problems. Maybe you filed for bankruptcy, you've had a foreclosure or something like that, and you need transportation to get to work, to get your kids to school, to get where you're going. Well, call Guarantee Discount Chevrolet and check out their Good People, Bad Credit program. They have helped hundreds of people get into quality, safe, reliable vehicles in 48 hours or less. And not only are they getting a vehicle, but they're reestablishing their credit along the way. So, this might be the time when you could get a little bit of help from Guarantee Discount Chevrolet. They can help you get into a car, a truck, an SUV to safely transport your family in the Oregon winter conditions, whether it's rain or snow or ice. Give them a call, 541-998-2333. That's 998-2333. Ask for Robert Sloan. If you're a good person with bad credit, Sloan gets you the loan at Guarantee Discount Chevrolet.
Holloway in London and the Wake Up Call. News Radio 1120 KPNW.
Oh, look at that.
Just like,
like she was listening and waiting for her segment for us to go. She's not showing up. And yet, she is. She's here. Julie here in studio. Hi, Julie. How was your holidays?
It was good. How was yours?
Incredible.
Oh, hi. Good friend. That looks like a Great Dane.
Do you have a horse over there?
He's a horse.
It's a Great Dane, I think.
Wow.
A Great Dane.
They lied to me again, as usual. The shelter showed me this little tiny picture close up and said it was a border collie.
You're not a border collie.
He's like a Great Dane mix.
Yes. And you're just goofy and friendly, aren't you?
Close.
Super nice dog.
Hello.
So
it looks like a her, judging by the collar.
I know.
I haven't checked the underside yet.
If anyone would like to donate boy collars, we could use some.
Oh, is this
we
a
only
boy?
have girl collars.
Is this a boy?
It's a boy.
Hi.
By the way, Julie from Lucky Paws out there in Springfield on Centennial.
Centennial.
Yeah.
Hey.
First dog of the new year.
First dog of the new year.
Who are we looking at?
He just came in on Saturday. So we had some puppies that got adopted last Saturday that we've had for quite a few weeks. They finally were old enough to go, and other than that, these are the first dogs that have come in.
And you're not camera.
He's got a little bit of the Frozen with the light pink and the light.
Yeah, I know. Yes, it's kind of sad, but
he is a lover. What a
nobody was
dog.
happy with that collar on him, and I said, "Well, it's all I had."
What's his name?
So
Hi there.
I don't know what his regular name is, but I've been calling him Snaggletooth. Well,
yeah. I
to
don't
me,
like that at all.
See, now it reminded me of
Could have made him
that
walk
old
away.
character. Hey,
You offended him.
No, he hasn't shown you his cute tooth yet. But actually, I changed it, and I've been calling him Jake. So,
Jake, I like.
But, people need to know he has this very unique tooth, one tooth that sticks out that holds his lip up, and it's cute.
He is just, what a personality.
Yeah.
What a great
He's an awesome dog for, usually when they come in, it takes a couple weeks just to get them to kind of calm down and not be nervous, and took him a day.
He was nervous?
He didn't know what to expect. He's kind of afraid to go outside in this cold weather.
I don't blame him.
But
yeah, he's kind of skinny though, and he needs some meat on him.
He needs meat on him. Yes, he's been eating lots of meals, and talk about a dog with manners. He's 6 years old.
He's that old?
He is, and sadly, the story I got is that the shelter.
Stay away from the tree.
Yeah. Don't be lifting that leg on the tree. Come here.
Wait, we still have the Christmas tree in the studio, in case you're wondering.
How could any dog, come into a strange place and not
want to
go for the tree? But we were told that he was adopted out of the shelter as a puppy, so they knew who his owners were, but they've had him for quite a few weeks, and No contact information was updated. They couldn't get a hold of him. So he had to go up for adoption, and nobody wanted to adopt him over the holidays. So...
And that tail just constantly wags. Is as far as obviously housebroken, I'm assuming.
He is. He's housebroken.
Is he trained? I mean, does he...
He knows sit and shake. He's a little confused about down. And that's the thing when you teach a dog to shake, and then, like, I point and say down, and they reach out and grab your hand. So maybe I'm doing it wrong, but but he knows sit and he'll shake real quick. He's super friendly dog.
All right, somebody needs to adopt him. If for any other reason, get him a better name than Snaggletooth.
I call him Jake now.
Jake works.
Remember, it's Snagglepuss. Remember that cartoon character?
Yes.
That's what I was thinking of. But,
although I was not a fan of the Hanna-Barbera cartoons.
well,
You wouldn't know the truth.
Jake works.
Warner Brothers were so
he's a big boy, though. When he see his cute little tooth, it sticks out.
Hey there.
It gives him character.
So what's he mixed with? It's obviously he's not a. I don't think he's a full blood.
No, they told me collie and lab, but
what?
Everything about him screams Great Dane to me. He's lazy.
I don't see any lab, and I don't see.
I see a Dane mix. Maybe he's a Dane collie, but maybe because he has those spots on his front.
Yeah.
There's no other reason. He doesn't act like a collie. He's not a hyper dog at all. He's a sweetheart. I mean, this is an awesome dog, and don't be afraid that he's 6 years old. He's, if you have this vision of this dog that's going to come in and not be a lot of work, here it is.
So is he, when you say he's not a lot of work, he doesn't need to go out and run a lot and everything like that? He's not...
Well, he hasn't yet. I don't know if it's because of the cold or what, but...
Or just because he's just not interested.
Yeah, because when I put him outside, he sits on the patio at the door and looks in. It's like, get out and go to the bathroom, hurry up. He'll walk out about 2 feet and go and come right back.
Have you heard a bark from him?
Yes, I have heard a bark. Surprised me. He barked at my pony, but not viciously or anything, just barking like, what the heck is that?
I had a friend who had a dog that looked maybe a little bit bigger than him.
Yeah, it's a big bark.
It was pretty throaty, pretty bassy.
It's a deep bark. People are going to know you have a big dog.
Yeah.
Hi, welcome back.
But he's just got super short hair, this tail that's a whip. I don't see lab in him at all.
What's his adoption fee?
I don't think he's even been posted yet. I would imagine because he's 6 years old, he's probably going to be $200 or less is normal. So he hasn't even been posted.
You see that like he's such a, he's so over the top.
Most
senior
adults,
citizen.
Most adults are $250. But when...
What is it cut off? 5 and over?
Yeah, that's what I need to check out. Because typically when we have a cutoff when they're older, then we make the fee less because, the sad part of it is that people don't want an older dog, even when they're awesome.
And he is awesome.
But, if you're looking for a dog like this, come see us. Heck, we're negotiable.
I'm sure
sometimes.
the Coopers will be fans of this. We have two of the 15 that always have. I think Riley, isn't Riley the current?
Riley's the current.
Yeah. Loves the Danes.
Oh, yeah?
It brings him into the studio. It's awesome.
Funny.
We got to meet their puppies.
He's not like this giant Dane, for people who might think they're too big.
I would say he's about 60, 70 pounds?
Yeah, maybe
80?
He probably should be 90.
No, he's not 80.
Yeah,
he's light.
He should be 90.
He needs to
plus
plump up a little bit.
He does. He's sad. He's had a sad face.
He has a sad face now?
He did. He's actually
what's wrong?
There. See, look at when he looks up at you.
Oh.
I think he misses his people. He doesn't know what happened.
He needs new people.
Yeah.
He needs forever people.
Good new people.
We all
They're
need forever people.
Leave him behind at the holidays.
Yeah. Very cool. So is he going to be, if he makes it
Yep.
unadopted, is he going to be...
He will be there Saturday if he makes it.
And where is there for people that don't know?
At PetSmart off Chad Drive. Typically 12 to 4. So he will definitely be there. And if you're looking for a puppy and waiting for a puppy, we have a litter of They look like pit bull Jack Russell puppies.
Oh my goodness!
Pit bull Jack Russell.
Wow.
Well, Mom is a Staffy. She's a Staffordshire Terrier, and the babies look either Rat Terrier or Jack Russell. So they're going to be little Staffies.
Well, I'll just say credit to the Jack Russell.
I know.
You survived the encounter.
I mean, I don't know what else. Chihuahua. But the markings and everything about them, they're small.
If it was a Chihuahua, it would just be a giant head with 4 little legs trying to drag it across the floor.
Well, they're almost 5 weeks old, and they only weigh about 2 pounds. So whatever it is, they're small.
Wow. Okay, so any other updates coming up? Shelter?
Not yet, no.
What about Saturday?
We tried to have a quiet
clinic?
Couple weeks. Actually, I know they said they would be there every Saturday, but you might want to call Cascade Animal Clinic.
You've been on vacation, I can tell.
And
you're kind of.
I know.
You're kind of out of the loop.
When the kids are on vacation, that's the problem. If school's out, then.
All right. So what's the Facebook page?
Facebook/Lucky Paws site, and you'll see the dogs. We just got, I think, 4 dogs in the other day. Sadly, we've had tons of people over the holidays trying to give us their dogs, but
thank you.
We're willing to help people work through it, but don't dump your dog at the holidays for reasons like I don't have time anymore. Look at that smile. He's a good boy.
Cute.
Yeah.
He's cute.
Come meet him.
He wants to be a lap dog.
We're fans.
He wants to be.
He does.
You want to be a big lap dog.
Aww.
All right, Julie. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, last second we were getting concerned.
Sorry about that. Ugh.
That's all right. You made it. 8:37 coming up. We're talking about the toxic employees. Woohoo! On
It's your money,
KPNW.
and this is your Wake Up Call Market Report on News Radio 1120 KPNW.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Financial markets are starting 2016 on a bleak note, and China's at the center of it. Stocks crumbling around the world, slowing manufacturing, triggering a sell-off that halted equity trading in Shanghai. But this all shows the pace of growth in China's economy will remain key for markets in 2016 after a slowdown last year. Oil higher, Saudi Arabia and some of its Gulf allies severed or downgraded ties with Iran in its biggest meltdown in relations between the Middle Eastern powers in almost 3 decades. The union representing Delta pilots wants raises of almost 40% compounded over 3 years. The union cites the carrier's surging profits in saying that it had requested a 22% raise for 2016, followed by 7% raises the following 2 years. Delta declined to comment. American Express and Bank of America are being dropped as partners for Fidelity's cashback credit card. Fidelity says Visa and U.S. Bancorp will take over as the network and issuer of the Fidelity card. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
This is a referral service. Calls will be routed to an independent referral insurance agency.
Do you know the #1 cause of bankruptcy? No, it's not losing your job or running up credit card debt. It's not even divorce. It's medical costs. If you and your family don't have health insurance, just one serious illness or accident could be financially devastating. But now there's good news, really good news. A health insurance hotline has been established to provide health insurance for all Americans, even uninsured Americans with pre-existing conditions. Now anyone can get health insurance even if you have a pre-existing medical condition. I repeat, now anyone can get health insurance coverage. Call now for a free no-obligation quote on affordable health plans available to you. Again, this is a free hotline for anyone, even if you have pre-existing conditions. Protect you and your family from sudden unexpected medical costs. Call the free health insurance hotline right now at 1-800-841-0007. That's 1-800-841-0007. Call 1-800-841-0007.
Based on actual cases, results may vary, not a solicitation for legal services.
If you owe for back taxes, payroll taxes, or if you've not filed, the IRS will search you out. They are the most powerful collection agency in the world. One call to Wall & Associates, and your tax problems can be solved. Listen.
I was worried I would lose my house. Wall met with me in person.
I was scared. Wall & Associates got my levy released in 48 hours.
They settled my back tax debt for a fraction of what I owed.
At Wall, we solve tax problems. Call 800-467-6127. That's 800-467-6127. You always speak with a live person.
I never had to talk to the IRS again.
Wall stopped my wage garnishment.
Wall solved my back tax problems for a fraction of what I owed.
Call Wall & Associates now for a free face-to-face consultation. Call 800-467-6127. That's 800-467-6127. 800-467-6127.
Paid for by Bonner & Partners, an independent research firm. My name is Bill Bonner, and I'm the president of the largest private news and research network in the world. And I paid for this airtime because I have an important message to the American people. There's a change coming that the government isn't telling you about. This change has deep implications for life in America, from where you shop to the doctors you visit and the family you want to protect. Look, I've made predictions like this before. Thing is, I was right then too. A few years ago, I warned that housing prices would collapse. They did. Before that, I warned that .com companies would crash. They did. Those who listened had a chance to save themselves. But this has nothing to do with the stock market. This will affect us all.
I've posted a free video that details everything you need to know at $disaster4.com. Maybe you'll disagree with my conclusions, but first you need to watch this video and see the facts for yourself. Just go to $disaster4.com. That's $disaster4.com.
Weather every 10 minutes during the wake-up call. Count on it. News Radio 1120, KPNW.
Good morning. If you're headed out that door in the next few minutes or you're already on those roads, we're looking at another dangerous situation this morning as temps right at freezing. We've had some freezing rain off and on throughout the night, and there are some slick spots out there. Now, it's not as bad as it was yesterday. There's still some dangerous spots on the road if you're going to be out and about. Now, we've got showers off and on. Temps right now right at freezing at 32 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Light winds out of the north at 5 to 10. This afternoon, mostly cloudy skies look to continue across the region with a 70% chance of more showers. The big difference is the actual highs. Today, we'll actually get to the mid to low 40s out there, about 43 here in town. So once we get to about 11 a.m., most of the freezing spots should start to finally melt, and that should be the end of the freezing weather. Now, we will see small shots of rain throughout the week, so be prepared for that. But at this point, conditions will improve this afternoon. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation in the KMTR News Source 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a fantastic and safe day out there.
This is your wake-up call.
It's like no cheese I've ever tasted.
News Radio 1120, KPNW.
8:42. I think it's a week from today. Or maybe next Monday, next Tuesday. It's supposed to be, it's billed as the most miserable day of the year. People coming out there holiday.
Is it Valentine's Day?
No. It's like next week. People coming out there holiday high and realize they're more in debt. Everything is kind of coming off the holiday high. Oregon and South Carolina, the two states people moved to last year at the highest rate. New Jersey, New York had the highest rates of people moving out. And they're all coming to Oregon or South Carolina. Top 10 states, Oregon, South Carolina, Vermont, Idaho, North Carolina, Florida, Nevada, Texas, and Washington. So they're coming. So they have to live somewhere. Probably going to help some real estate here, some business opportunities, if we can just keep them happy.
That's the idea, keep them happy. By the way, Jake, I'm surprised how many emails and texts we've gotten about Jake. One of them thinks that Jake kind of looks like a German short hair. A little bit. They sent a picture along. A little bit like one. And then another guy said, there's a song by the Pirates of the Mississippi called Feed Jake. Awesome name for a dog and a good song. Actually, that was a hit when I was working country, and yeah, it's not a bad song. And another one, is that a Dane? Is that a Dane? It sounds like one to me. That came from Chuck and Laura. So, anyway, I hope that somebody ends up doing the adoption thing there. All right, so it is that time of year when you start getting all of these lists that come out, whether it be, you know, the big events of 2015, or in this case, the worst kind of coworker. A study, a new study out talks about toxic employees. Easy for me to say. And the worst kind of coworker. Joining us on the Wake Up Call this morning to talk a little bit about it, workplace culture expert Shantae Hawkins on the Wake Up Call. Shantae, thanks for being with us.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right. So, of all the different types of toxic coworkers, which one, supposedly, according to folks, is the worst?
It's the one who is the high performer, because what they described in this personality profile of this toxic worker is that they're actually not a lazy worker. They're really, really good at what they do, but they're corrupt. So no one wants to work with them. People avoid them. But from a company standpoint, and when you look at the numbers, they do really good work.
Okay, so they're I don't understand why they're toxic. Did you say that they're corrupt?
Yes, they're corrupt. So their behavior. So they have bad attitudes. They're negative. They have high self-regard. They're the ones who may take credit for someone else's work. They're the individual who might make sexist comments, and that's basically one of those. No one wants to work with those types of individuals.
So a high-performing slob is what you're talking about.
Yes, they have bad mouth. They might be the individual who uses a lot of profanity in the workplace. Just the person that they have a negative attitude, bad behavior. No one really wants to be around them.
Okay, so I guess the question there is, how bad are they from the standpoint then of the actual company? I mean, are they toxic enough that they're sending people scurrying away from the company, or?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
So what's happening is, from a company standpoint, what's happening is, yes, they're a high performer, so they are really, really good at their job. But on the flip side, they're costing the company, and the company they may be turning a blind eye to this because they maybe haven't looked at directly how many individuals are leaving the company as a result of that person's behavior. But also what happens is, if those employees tend to stick around a little bit, the ones who are feeling like there's this toxic worker, they may call in sick. The company may also get hit with a lawsuit.
So how much of it is that they're toxic, and how much of it is part of the problem is that people are jealous because they're actually a high performer?
Well, I think you have high performers on both sides of the fence. Just because you're a high performer doesn't mean that you have a bad attitude, because there are high performers who really do a great job, and they have a positive attitude, they're happy, and they're fun to be around and work with. But then on the other hand, you have this individual who is a high performer, but no one wants to be around them, and they're costing the company in the form of high turnover.
See, I would have figured that the one that would be disliked the most is the lazy employee who takes credit for everything.
Yeah, I thought so too. But this study was really very interesting, that it really detailed the profile of this toxic worker. And it's the individual who excels at work, but they're corrupt. They have high self-regard. In other words, they're selfish. And they're overconfident, which leads them to take unreasonable risk on the job.
Well, in some ways, a lot of that, you don't want somebody that doesn't have a good self-esteem, particularly, and I don't know why I keep focusing on this in my head. The first thing I think of, well, this sounds like, a good salesperson.
Maybe, yes.
Well, no, because let's be honest here. What motivates a really good salesperson? Money. And you have to have, and it's totally self-interest. And you've got to have a lot of self-confidence and think a lot of yourself to be able to go out there day after day after day after day and get rejection. Let's be honest here. I think I saw a statistic that you don't get the sale until after something like 9 tries, generally.
Absolutely.
I'm listening to you say this, I'm thinking, well, this kind of sounds like salespeople.
Right, it could be a salesperson, but so if you have this individual who's a salesperson in your organization, they're bringing in a lot of income, but they're also having to do more work because everyone else is leaving and no one wants to work with them. That's detrimental to the company. You don't want a culture, because even if they are a high performer and they're bringing in a lot of income, and yes, you want a salesperson who's confident, they're aggressive, and they're going to go out there no matter how many times they're told no. You still want someone who adheres to good behavior and is respectful, and you don't want an organization, you don't want your company, the environment to be infected with bad, negative attitudes.
Interesting. Email just came in. I was managed by such a person at a local bank. She's still there. I'm not. I'm happy. I'm happy, comma. She's still blank, crazy, and it rolls down. Yes, a good salesperson, high loan volume, but a bad manager of people.
Yeah. See, so people end up, that's one of the things the study pointed out as well, is that these are workers who tend to stay at organizations much longer, but like the lady you just mentioned in the email, she left, right? So she found somewhere else to go and work.
Yeah.
And for a company, that costs you. When you lose a good worker, when you have to find someone else to replace them, and now you have to train them. So there's a lot of inherent costs there, not just the salary.
Of this particular personality type, are most of them in positions of management?
Well, they could be in any position.
Okay.
They could be multiple positions. I mean, any position within an organization. I wouldn't say just management. They're going to be all throughout the organization. I mean, you probably work with them. You probably know someone right now that you could think of.
Yes.
So it's not just one particular position in an organization or one particular, I don't think it's just salesperson, salespeople. I don't want to put that out there that only salespeople have, that they're considered toxic workers, because that's not it. I think it's anyone can adopt that type of attitude.
All right. Hey, Shantae, have a great rest of your day, okay?
You too, thank you.
Thanks for joining us, Shantae Hawkins, on the Wake Up Call. She's a workplace culture expert. They have experts. I want to be one of these culture experts on something. We need to come up, Rob, with something for us to become like culture experts, some sort of culture expert. Because
beer and bacon is go there and
beer and bacon
make
culture.
Sure that they have a quota.
Beer culture expert. Maybe microbrew culture experts, where we go to microbrews and check out the culture. And
I don't think we should limit it to just microbrews. I think we should go anywhere there's beer.
Okay. I'm down with that.
I was like, where?
By the way, we're one step closer to that because we are broadcasting from the Widmer Studios now. If you go on the stream, you can see what we mean.
I was at Long's Meat Market, and I'm sitting there looking to order some meat, and I look over, and they got some spigots. I'm like, beer? I love this place. Yeah, I'll take a sandwich. By the way, we didn't talk about it, but I wanted to throw this out there. D'Anthony Thomas, there is some raised eyebrows and some, what's going on in Kansas City. Apparently, he's got a non-football injury and a personal issue. There's speculation that D'Anthony Thomas, former Oregon Duck, is going to be retiring from football. What is he, 23? No word on what's going on, but there is a non-football related injury or issue that might be instrumental in him not only leaving the Kansas City Chiefs, but leaving football. When he was asked if they were going to retain D'Anthony for next year, Coach Reed was evasive, couldn't confirm anything. So we'll have to watch that, along with all the changes and the speculation who's going to be the new defensive coordinator with the Oregon Ducks. We'll keep you posted. That's it for me. You got anything?
Got nothing.
Let's
spent for the day.
Let's meet again tomorrow at 6:05. The Wake Up Call out. Thanks for listening. Coming to you from the Widmer Studios here at the KPNW Radio Complex. We're out.
I thought you almost said
Men,
college.
If you're like me, you appreciate the feeling of a clean, smooth shave from a quality blade. The sort of shave that cuts clean without the burn. So why are you messing around with generic razors that cost $32 for an 8-pack when you can shave with Harry's high-quality German-engineered blades for half the price? And if saving money and a clean shave isn't incentive enough, Harry's will give you their starter set, complete with a razor, 3 of their world-famous blades, and shaving cream for just $15. And shipping is always free. We'll also give you $5 off your first order. Our way of saying thank you for trying us. How are we able to save you all this money and still give you the best shave you'll ever enjoy? By owning the factory that manufactures them. That's how. So go to harrys.com right now and enter code 2828 at checkout. That's Harry's.com, code 2828.
Dairy Mart is here, man. Dairy Mart is there, man. Up and down the valley, they're everywhere you go, man. Stop and come inside, man. Dairy Mart saves time. We got soda pop, fruit punch, cold beer, crunchy tater, cookies, cracker jacks, ice cream, lotto tickets, hot food, quick stacks, mama's favorite gourmet coffee, donuts, hot dogs, tender turkey, ice cream treats, biscuits, gravy, sandwiches, and friendly faces, chocolate milk, healthy food, stopping now, lots of places. Dairy Mart is here, man. Dairy Mart is there, man. Up and down the valley, they're everywhere you go, man. Stop and come inside, man. Dairy Mart saves time. We're in Corvallis, Albany, Brownsville, Monroe, Harrisburg, Junction City, Cobra, Cottage Grove, Eugene, Springfield, Benita, Crestwell, drive-thrus, fresh fruit, daily papers, great smells. We're in your neighborhood. Come on, let's go down to Dairy Mart. Your store gets more. Dairy Mart is here, man. Dairy Mart's right here.
The human voice. It can be sweet as music, powerful as thunder,
And so, my fellow Americans,
cheerful as laughter. But for millions of people, it can also be a sign of COPD. This serious lung disease can make it so hard to breathe, you often can't catch a breath or finish a sentence, let alone carry a tune. And many who have COPD don't even know it. That's where your voice comes in. If you think you or a loved one have symptoms, talk with a healthcare provider. Early diagnosis can mean better treatments and quality of life. Join us in raising our voices for the millions with COPD who can't. Learn more, breathe better at NIH.gov.
I need to find a happy story right now.
Holloway in London.
You are a sad, strange little man, and you have my pity.
Wayne County's wake-up call on News Radio 1120, KPNW.
It's not always easy being a dad.
When's the fairy princess coming?
Any minute now.
What?
What do you mean she's not coming? But it's always worth it.
It's the fairy princess!
It is I, Cruz Zinklebell. The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
I know it's really you, Drew. I'm just pretending for the other kids.
Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
News, information, 24/7 on News Radio 1120, KPNW. The most accurate forecast now. We have weather every 10 minutes during Wake Up Call on News Radio 1120, KPNW.
Good morning to you and yours. Once again, we're seeing dangerous conditions out there on the road. Now, it's not as cold as it was yesterday, but we're still seeing spots of freezing rain off and on across the valley, and some roads are still fairly icy out there, so take caution. Otherwise, mostly cloudy skies are dominating, with temps right now right at freezing of 32 degrees. We've got light winds out of the north at 5 to 10, and we're tracking freezing rain off and on the radar out there, moving through the area. Now, this afternoon, mostly cloudy skies look to continue. We have another 70% chance of showers off and on, but unlike yesterday, the highs will actually climb today into the mid to low 40s, with a high of about 42 in town. That means by about 11 a.m., most of the freezing spots should finally melt away. Now, we will see small shots off and on throughout the week, but no major systems, and the temps look to continuously climb up until we're back into the mid-40s for most of the week. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation in the KMTR News Source 16 Weather Center, hoping you have a fantastic but safe day.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Stocks are racing early gains after the worst yearly opening for the S&P in 15 years yesterday. Transportation stocks taking a hit as December auto sales numbers are out. Fiat Chryslers rose 13% on the back of gains for Jeep. However, Ford, Toyota, and GM all missed sales estimates. Speaking of autos, big changes at the top of General Motors. GM electing CEO Mary Barra as chairman, signaling its approval of the job she's done almost 2 years after becoming the biggest U.S. automaker's first female CEO. Eli Lilly, which has promised to return to growth after a half a decade of falling revenue, indicated that 2016 earnings may be below analyst estimates. The drug maker has been working on a comeback after losing patent protection for two of its biggest drugs in 2011 and 2013. And Activision Blizzard is buying esports pioneer Major League Gaming, deepening its commitment to the business of producing live video game competition. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Fox News, fair and balanced. We report, you decide. On News Radio 1120 KPNW, Eugene, Springfield.
This is a Fox News Alert. I'm Lisa Brady. Flanked by people who've lost loved ones to gun violence.
We do have to feel a sense of urgency about it.
President Obama announcing executive actions aimed at boosting the number of background checks.
People are dying. And the constant excuses for inaction no longer do. No longer suffice. That's why we're here today. Not to debate the last mass shooting, but to do something to try to prevent the next one.
The president hoping to help stop gun sellers from getting around the background check requirement by failing to register as licensed dealers, by instead requiring anyone in the business of selling firearms to register, including online sellers.
Every single week brings a new effort to undermine the Second Amendment.
Marco Rubio, one of the Republican presidential hopefuls, criticizing the president's move.
We have a president that views the Constitution as an annoyance, as an outdated and stale document meant to be manipulated or adjusted to the realities of a new time.
Opponents in Congress are threatening to strip funding for the president's order. A deadly attack on U.S. troops in Afghanistan, followed by a helicopter crash. Fox News Radio's Rachel Sutherland, live in Washington.
Lisa, a battle with the Taliban involving U.S. Special Ops forces has left 1 dead and 2 wounded. One of the wounded was not a Special Ops fighter and is believed to have been on a U.S. medevac helicopter that went down as it tried to rescue the soldiers in southern Afghanistan. The helicopter is now grounded due to damage it sustained. In late December, 6 U.S. airmen were killed at Bagram Air Base in Afghanistan. Lisa.
Thanks, Rachel. The airport in Spokane, Washington closed temporarily after freezing rain caused a United Airlines 737 to slide off an icy taxiway. No injuries reported. You're listening to Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
Not available in California.
Listeners, do you